Planet Zoo. A game where I have spent far too much time staring at this big empty green screen going, ultimately ending in quitting the game. So I'm gonna let this wheel decide my new zoo for me. And I mean like a real zoo, not a credit farm. And I am pretty pleased with the wheel giving me the biome and continent choice of Taiga and North America. I decided to name this zoo the Menagerie of Mayhem, or MOM for short. Seemed pretty fitting. First thing that I'm going to do is map out our free electricity range from the front gate. If you're playing franchise mode, always make sure you mooch off this right at the beginning. I'm going to lay out some starting path that I want to try and use. This can get kind of messy, so maybe just close your eyes. There, see? I told you, I'm basically a professional. Up here at the very edge of the electricity will be our staff starting hub. This wooded area over here, I would like to eventually have food, drinks for our guests, maybe even a gift shop. Maybe all of the above, I haven't decided quite yet. And stepping back, this is what our zoo is looking like so far. Now let's slap down some staff buildings. I don't need all the buildings right now, so I'm just gonna place a few for now and the others can go on top of these ones. Let's hire some friends and change their outfits. Oh, color choices. This might take a minute. Hold, please. Now that our staff is looking super snazzy in their new drip and absolutely fired up for work, let's go to the wheel and see what our first animal that will be added to the menagerie. With all the DLC, there are 210 choices with habitat and exhibit animals all mixed together. Oh my. Ooh, the common ostrich. That's actually a pretty good one to start with. At least it wasn't like an elephant or a lion or something expensive. And by expensive, I mean a bottomless pit with their stomachs. I'm going to get to work right away making my custom fence. I want to expand my building skills, so when I can, I will be creating my own barriers and not using the in-game ones. The benefits are that you can have hundreds of variations of fencing in your zoo, and because you are utilizing the null barrier, your mechanic can kick their feet up and do nothing. In fact, if you are using the starting free electricity, you can save your money and not even hire one right away. Real quick, I'm gonna throw some ostriches in here and make sure that they can't get out. Add some hard shelter, even though I don't think they need it, but I think they do. A few plants, not too many. Then rocks. Rocks can really help make your habitat look great. Don't be shy, rocks are your friends. If you think you've placed enough rocks, place more. And finishing it up with education, and now we have a nice ostrich habitat with a nice covered talking point and an educator that is close enough to be able to throw food as well. With that done, I'm going to spend a few moments on the staff area just to make it look a little better, and by that I mean I'm just going to throw some grid pieces at it so I don't have to look at the insulation of this building anymore. Also, we can't forget our sign, a mom staff only. We have our management googly-eyed bison. He's always watching, so you guys better not be slacking off because he'll tell me. Now that googly-eyed bison is keeping an eye on those guys, let's get back to the wheel. And we got the Gila Monster. Ooh, an exhibit animal. Oh, that's good. I have some ideas. If you notice, I left this space in the front open, hoping that I would get an exhibit animal sooner rather than later, and here we are. I have always wished that we can make exhibits bigger, like click them together to make them bigger. I have some ideas on how to make it look bigger, and I'm going to try that now. Trust me, I think you're going to like this. It won't be usable space for our little Gila Monster friend, but it'll look good, I think. I hope. Well, here it is, the bigger, better exhibit. Well, a faux exhibit, but I think it turned out really good. It's covered and there's education going on in the back, and the educator even pulls out our little friend to show people. We are pretty low on money right now, and so I need to sit here and take a bit of a play break. We don't need pause breaks in Planet Zoo, we need play breaks to accumulate more money. But let's at least see what we will be working towards next. And the wheel says Malabar Rose. Ooh, a butterfly from the newest base game update. Not gonna lie, a little excited for butterflies. Now, where are we gonna put them? Well, I guess I have time to figure that out since we are so low on cash that I can't even buy a walkthrough exhibit. I'm going to just sit here for a while and hope that our Gila Monster can fund the rest of this park, although it seems people are not terribly interested. Oh, there's some coinage. Yeah, thank you, kind sir. Oh, we're being graced by the presence of an inspector. I swear I feed my ostriches, ma'am. Nothing to see here. Yeah, you better give me 5 stars. Oh, dang, it just got really cold. I better give everyone some heaters. All right, enough faffing about. Let's get to this build. This seems like the most logical place to put the butterfly walkthrough. I have a vision. I see a gift shop. But my zoo is not quite big enough to justify one yet, but that doesn't mean I can't build a shell and just leave it empty for a while. Oh no, the first protesters have arrived. What are they complaining about? My Gila Monster, he's perfectly fine. Are you gonna at least buy a ticket? At least buy a ticket if you're gonna come in here and complain. Oh well, I'm sure they'll leave once they realize their mistake. Bye-bye now. This is the shell for the butterfly shop that I have right now. It seems pretty big for a shop, and I may be sticking more exhibit animals in here if we roll them just to fill it up a bit, but I like it so far. If you haven't noticed, I have a bad tendency to build too big. And just look how much you can earn by selling butterflies. If you are struggling to get a leg up in franchise mode, get a keeper hut, a break room, and some butterflies. You don't even need any other staff buildings. You don't even need a vet. With those all sold, I definitely feel comfortable going to my wheel for our next challenge. Ooh, the koala! So cute. Koalas are confident around humans, so I think I'm going to be putting them right up front. That'll be a good idea. See, now to me, I am internally questioning on if this will be enough space, just to slap down a barrier around it to see that it is a more than enough space. Way more space than I need. Is that gonna stop me from building here? Nope, I'm still gonna put them here in this space, and I hope they enjoy it. I start by making this cover for them that I will be putting some climbing enrichment in later, and then I want to make another custom barrier fence that they can't get out of, so I need to make sure to turn climbing off on all this wood. Next, I want to place the koalas I adopted inside this pen just to make sure they can't get out anywhere and that their terrain is right for them. Now I'm gonna add foliage and rocks, the two things that really pull it all together. See what I mean? Instantly better. And I just realized after researching enrichment for the koalas that I actually have a nice eucalyptus tree that I could place in here and get rid of this one. And they can actually use this one and eat on it instead of it just being decor. Here is our newest habitat all done, the koala corner, where our guests can get up close and personal with these little babies. Oh, a really up close look, I guess. I guess I didn't turn off the climbing for the education board. Ah well, as long as you don't escape, I will leave it on for you, my dude. And the wheel gave us another exhibit creature, the sacred Scarab Beetle, and I have the perfect place for it, and with the power of editing, this will only take a moment. There we go. Another expanded exhibit for our new little dung rolling friends. Do you know which one they're in? It's this one. I know, it's super hard to tell. Oh, ye mighty wheel, what do you have for me now? Oh, the Pallas Cat. Well, your majesty, welcome to the party. Pretty sure the Pallas Cat is shy. Yeah, so we will want to utilize some of our one-way glass for these guys. I'm going to actually build their habitat back here by the staff buildings, and I kind of want to build them a castle. I don't know how this is going to turn out, but I'm going to try. I also want to name this little guy. I have not been inspired to name any of the other animals in the zoo so far, but this little one, this is gonna be King Arthur, and of course his wife Guinevere. Of course a custom fence is going in, and I am sure they can jump right on over this. But I think near the end I'm gonna add some mesh so they won't be able to get over and attack the guests. Although I'm not sure how dangerous these little cuties really are. So the castle is very square, but I tried my best. I like it. Now my favorite part, foliage and rocks. Yay, rocks. Don't forget rocks. They could really make or break a habitat. I'm gonna keep saying it. Rocks are your friends. And here is our Pallas Cat habitat all said and done. I do like the walk-through castle part. It is a nice place for the cats to get away from the guests, but little do they know the guests can still see them with such a great view of them thanks to one-way glass. One-way glass has got to be one of my favorite pieces to have to my habitat barriers whenever I have little shy guys. Time to go back to the wheel and roll once again. And we got the blue Morpho. Ooh, another butterfly. Well, this will be easy to add them into our existing butterfly house. Just like that. Now we have all of our enrichment researched and placed, and we can fill in the blank spots of this walkthrough habitat with more foliage. And with the power of editing, There we go. Now this is much more filled in and pretty with flowers for our little butterfly friends. I also took this time to finally fill in the gift shop, which I have named Fluttery Treasures, with plenty of shelf space for various goods for our guests to buy and give me more money. Complete with an info booth, and I also added ATM so there's no excuse not to spend every one of your dimes here. Guests come to the park with a set amount, but if you place down ATMs, they can pull out even more to spend while they are visiting. And into our walkthrough butterfly exhibit, where we now house 2 different species of butterflies. I can't wait until we can roll some more and really fill this place up. Exiting, we get another look at our little dung buddies. And there is now a memento, balloon, and hat vendor in here to help keep congestion out of the gift shop. On the other side, I finally added some food and drink. It just seemed like the right time, and I will probably be mirroring the food and drink stalls on this other side too, just with different vendors for a variety. And that, gals and pals, is our new Fluttery Treasures. With food and drink now set up and running in the zoo, that means, yes, now it is time to clutter up our pretty zoo with ugly, ugly trash cans. Guests don't travel too long before they just get bored with holding their food wrappers and litter them everywhere. Gross, and a major panda eye roll from me. I don't know about you guys, but I would be putting trash in my pocket or in my bag before I just drop it on the floor. Anywho, on to the next. Wheel says, Aardvark. Ooh, this little cutie can be pretty shy, so I'm going to be placing him behind the Pallas Cats. I'm going to cut away from our path to give our guests a view without blocking the main flow of traffic. In our custom barrier, even though I'm going to be placing the barrier pretty low, I'm still going to be using the one-way glass to hopefully help with stress. I'm also going to add a little house in the back that will serve as the back area for the zookeepers. I am still very new to adding back staging areas, so they are pretty barren, but I'm trying. Next, I'm going to add enrichment and a burrow for our new little friends. Foliage and rocks are always needed to facelift any enclosure. See how much better this looks? And I covered the burrow with rocks, and it looks even better. It looks like it's part of the scape. A simple and cute little habitat for our aardvarks. Time to go back to the wheel and see what I roll next. Dromedary Camel. I think it is time that we get out of our starting electricity. I tried to utilize as much of the starting space as I could, but it is definitely time to move out of this spot. Starting with a custom fence for our camels and a fence for our guests as well. Pretty sure camels can be pretty friendly and tolerate humans, but still, I don't need a lawsuit because my camel spit on some kid. I added this large barn in the back with a path through the back with one-way glass to give our guests a good look at our camels while they are resting. Right now this path doesn't lead to anything, but this will be one of the paths to the next section of the zoo. I really like the way this shell turned out, but let's add some enrichment. And of course, we're gonna give this habitat a nice glow up with some rocks and foliage. I'm always so amazed at how different a habitat can look with a little bit of plant life. This is our new and lovely dromedary camel habitat. It was about this time that I noticed how well we're doing on money and decided that it was time to give other parts of the zoo little bits of foliage love. These odd empty spaces in between paths are always great to throw in a planter, or a planter and some benches. Look how nice this area looks now. So much better. The menagerie is starting to look like an actual zoo. Next up from the wheel is another exhibit animal, the giant forest scorpion. Nothing too exciting here. I just placed down a new exhibit right next to our bathrooms across from our camel habitat that we just made. Yeah, pretty happy with that. Oh no, I had to stop everything because our king is about to pass. Oh no, not King Arthur. No, your majesty. And splat. Aw, man, this is so sad. Need to take a moment of silence for our king. Oh, okay, I guess that's enough of that for now. Time to quickly get over our sadness by adopting a fresh Arthur. There, no one will ever know. Babies, babies, babies. Everyone's having babies around here. Oh, and Mama's gonna go to sleep right after that. Well, I can't blame her. We all know how hard triplets can be. You're 18? Come on, Wheel, give us something good. Oh, Oh my. Hippos. And not even pygmy hippos. These are big boy hippos. Oh dear. Hippos need a lot of space. And even more water, deep water to swim around in. I'm pretty sure I'm going to make this way bigger than it needs to be, but I do have an idea. I want to add a watertight space with glass barriers to allow for our guests to get an underwater viewing experience with our hippos. So I have to use the barriers that are in the game for that. This is probably going to take some trial and error. Hold please. There. Now that that is in and it is holding water, I'm going to place a building piece, doesn't matter which one, at the top of where the water is, so I know where to raise the terrain to. Delete this part of the barricade, raise up the ground, make sure it still holds water, and it does. Perfect. On this side of the enclosure, I wanted to use these windows and underwater viewing to give the guests a nice view while they're eating. This is going to be a restaurant. This is the restaurant shell. I love restaurants because they do not make trash like all the other stands do. I thought it would be cool if the restaurant had an animal to view to go with it, and I'm just going to use a lot of concrete for this building. It's brutalistic. I feel like if any animal was into brutalism, it would be hippos. I'm also going to make the hippos a covered sleeping spot up here on the hill so that way they can get away from guests if they want to. And let's just double check to make sure I didn't do anything that would prevent my water from filling in. And everything is looking real good. Next, I'm going to add the area for the keepers to enter the habitat as well, which will just be on the back of this little pill-shaped building. I'm also going to give the hippo keepers their own hut, staff room, and research area. This will help keep travel time down since the zoo is getting bigger. Finishing off the barrier of this habitat with some nice rock formations that I am just going to copy and flip back and forth to give variety, so it doesn't look like I just slapped down the same rocks over and over again, but really I did. And I know I want a waterfall. I do like these waterfall pieces. It does make just slapping down a waterfall a lot easier. Just cover it with rocks and it looks great in any habitat. Just like that. See, a few rocks later and this is looking pretty good. Now let's add some foliage. And what? How did this little guy get out? What? I didn't think the koalas had an escape point. Okay, that's weird. I'm just gonna chalk that up to a fluke. Okay, back to plants. Don't forget to add plants to the bottom of your water area too. This will really help bring life to the water area. And of course we have to add some lilies to the top. These lily pads are so nice for a little added touch, and it looks really cool when the animals swim through them. I especially like to use them in my swampy habitats for some of our more cold-blooded friends. Because the zoo has gotten bigger, I think it's time that we hire some more friends to help out. And here is our finished hippo habitat, complete with toy enrichment on one side of the falls and food on the other so the keepers can actually reach it. And it is all connected to the Hungry Hippos restaurant. Now, this is still pretty bare bones. I'm not even really sure what or how to decorate the interior of this, but look at these lucky people over here. They have the potential of having a really awesome view while they eat their food. Yeah, what do you think of the view of the hippo? Pretty amazing, right? Right? Doesn't it just make you want to empty your pockets into my donation bins? Oh yes, yes it does. Yes, give me all your money. You don't need to pay rent or get groceries, just give me all your money. Yes, small child, empty your piggy banks into my bins. Hahaha, everyone loves hippos. Look at that view, how cool is that? Such magnificent and terrifying creatures. Oh, look at that kid up there. That kid is just awestruck. This is the coolest thing this kid's ever seen. What do you guys think of this hippo right here while you eat, huh? Pretty cool, huh? Well, she's shy, guys, sorry. And back to the wheel for our next animal, and we got another exhibit animal. I am surprised at how many exhibit animals I've gotten. This time it is the Diamondback Terrapin, which is a little turtle. And I'm not going to waste any time with this. I'm just going to place it right here outside the hippo area. And I also spruced up the hippo talk point as well. And it was at this moment that I realized that our manager, the googly-eyed bison, has not been doing his job. There we go. Yeah, you do your work. No more slacking off. The manager is on duty now. Then I took a minute to look at our new baby hippo. Oh, look. Look at her. She is so cute. She isn't as cute as Moodang, but honestly, he is pretty hard to beat. Ugh, now I want pygmy hippos. Let's see what the wheel wants to give us next. Snow leopards. Oh, okay. I actually have a few of those. The guys in my trade center from my conservation credit zoo called the Murder Mittens. I'm sure you can guess what I breed there for credits. I started making the snow leopard habitat right next to the ostriches and hippos. I wanted to give a nice covered area for the guests to enter and see the leopards. I also want to use one-way glass since snow leopards are shy and tend to get stressed out from all the people. And I can't blame them, people freak me out too. I also wanted to make a rock background with a little bit of a rock area that they can climb, maybe go to sleep up there. Just need to make sure that they can't escape from up here too. That would be bad. Finishing up the habitat, I will need to add enrichment and of course rocks and foliage and some coolers. Now my leopards are still little babies, but they're pretty close to aging up, so I'm not going to worry about putting an adult in here just yet. They're so cute! And look at that, they can use the rock ramp I made that leads them right up to their sleeping area. Oh, they grow up so fast, don't they? Oh, so cute! These two are not related and should be just fine with giving the zoo some babies. And here is the final snow leopard habitat. And I realized as I was editing this flyover that she actually had her babies right as we flew over. Did you see them? 2 new little ones. After hitting year 25, we have all of our research finished and really close to 5 stars in the zoo already. Just a darn education. I swear I always fall flat on education. The zoo is making profit year after year and we just hit 600k in the bank. Nice to see the menagerie working as intended. Everything is flowing, nothing is out of place. We're finally starting to look somewhat like a zoo. And then there's these idiots. I'm not sure why they always keep getting stuck here. I assume it's because this is where the gift shop meets path, but you know, I'm not really sure. Just listen to their cries of stupidity. Okay, I will help you out of there. Up you go, you morons. Oh, and I'm popping all of your balloons. No balloons for stupids. I'm sure I'm gonna have to come back here and clear this spot again and again. Back to our wheel so we can see who the next cutie to join the mayhem will be. African buffaloes! Well, this big boy has many friends that they are compatible with, so this will have to be a bigger habitat just in case if we roll one of these other guys, then we could just add them in. First, before we go into build, I wanted to show some of you about the curving path trick. I got some comments asking about how I curve my path, and I thought that I would show you because it's kind of hard to explain. After you lay out your path in the way you want it, like this for example, then you're going to go over to one of the corners of the path and make the path placement clicky thing look like this, right on the corner, and then you place the path and then just right click to delete it. Do not just undo it with Control Z because then it'll just go back to how it first looked. Definitely make sure you right click to delete it. You can do this with all of your corners, and as you can see, it just expands this area more and more and more, and pretty soon we will have a nice plaza type area that we can add maybe food stalls to, some benches for our guests. Just be careful because there are some clicks that will do some funky things, and before you know it, you can ruin the whole thing. Control Z to undo, and don't worry, you can always go back to how it used to look before you got greedy and took it too far. Oh, and I almost forgot, I wanted to spin the wheel to find out what material theme that I should be using per build too. I don't know if all of these have full building parts with them, and if they don't, we'll just roll another one and use 2 different themes. East Asian. Oh, East Asian and African buffaloes. I'm sure it'll be fine. East Asian comes with the base game, and they are some of my favorite building pieces. Maybe it's because I'm a panda, but pagoda and cherry blossom trees, sign me up. Right now I'm working on the custom guest fence, and much like the camels, I'm going to make a walkthrough area for the guests to see them sleeping. But first I need to finish off this fence with another layer to keep the animals away from the guests too. I don't know if African buffaloes bite, and I don't intend to find out. I'm going to start laying down the building for what will be used for their hard shelter for the buffalo and whatever else ends up in here with them. I'm going to again utilize one-way glass. I know, it is not East Asian theme, but one-way glass doesn't count, right? I also need to add a small area for swimming. They don't need deep water like the hippos, but they do need some water to swim to cool off in from the heaters that will be added last to this habitat. Now let me just finish off this building by making it a tad bit bigger. Who knows, maybe we'll roll some giraffes. And I'm going to add plenty of beds in here and finish off the roof. And it was just about this time that I remember that this was supposed to be a covered walk-through area, and I just finished off the roof. But that's okay, we don't need to delete our mistakes around here, we work with them. Trust me, this isn't the first mistake and it won't be the last. See what I mean? Duh, the guests need a way back out so they don't double back on the path and create a roadblock. A nice idea in theory, but I'm sure the guests won't cooperate with the way that I want them to walk. But I made this path, and if they get stuck, then that's their fault and their balloons shall be popped. I wanted to add this nice water wheel. I felt like I needed a water feature, and I didn't really want to make another waterfall since I had just made one with the hippos. But this should be a nice touch for sure. Let me just plop down a little building so it looks like it has purpose and a reason and isn't just floating there. And I'm also going to add some of these waterfall splash effects where the water is getting picked up and a little bit more where the water is being dumped back off. And I'm sad that there's no actual water in the wheel, but oh well, maybe Planet Zoo too, right? Now on for your favorite part and mine. Time to add rocks and foliage. So much better. And of course we need our enrichment for the buffalo, a nice little mud bath over here. Unfortunately I haven't had any luck finding a male buffalo as of late. I know I have conservation credits, but I don't really want to spend them on an African buffalo just for mating. I'll keep my eye on the market, but for right now it's gonna be a ladies only party. And this is our final look at our new habitat. Like I said before, this habitat is pretty big. I'm hoping that I will roll a few more species to add into here with our African buffalo. Although I do think it would be kind of funny if I didn't and they're just stuck in this huge habitat by themselves. I'm sure they won't mind. And flying over we get another look at our mud bath. I like to add some water to my mud pools to better explain why they're a bit muddier in this area instead of just throwing down a mud pool and calling it a day. Welcome to the grasslands, my friends. Love it. And I did manage to find a boy on the marketplace for next to nothing, so he is now in there. And here's our educator who should be able to throw food into the pen for them. Surprisingly, they can't jump out of here. I mean, you would think that they would totally just be able to jump right on out, but oh, look away, kids. The animals are getting freaky with it in the back. Well, educator, this is the perfect opportunity to talk about babies. Back to our wheel so we can see what is next on the agenda. Oh, the Cuviers. Dwarf Caiman. Cuvier? I don't know. I'm not sure I'm really pronouncing that right. I think it's Cuvier's Dwarf Caiman. That's what I'm gonna go with. I also decided to roll 2 themes per build this time, so that way there's less chance that I just get the same combo. And for the CDC, I rolled Australian and Aquatic. These little guys don't need too much space, but when has that ever stopped me from going completely over the top? And yes, this is editing panda foreshadowing. But that's okay, because I'm going to make my Dwarf Caimans an infinity pool, or something like that. I stopped here because the non-boxed in waterfalls looked, to me, like they're going backwards? Is it just me? They look like the water's flowing up. I don't know. It might be just me, but I swapped them out for the box version instead. A little bit more annoying to hide all the seams, but it does seem like the water is flowing in the right direction now, and it's got a nicer splash effect to it than the other version did anyways. Never fear, we'll just hide the box with our favorite thing ever, rocks. But first, take a moment to join me in laughing at my past self thinking that this was the appropriate size. What the heck am I honestly building for? A big boy saltwater crocodile? Yeah, no, I literally have no words. I'm just gonna keep things simple for myself here and use the fences that are in the aquatic pack, hands down, one of the better DLCs to splurge on if you're into building. And I want to add a room for the keepers to access easily since there isn't a lot of walking that they'll be able to reach to in this habitat. Of course, the keepers will need a hut that is in close range to keep walking time down. I like to make each of my habitats with a keeper hut relatively close by for feeding, and our caimans are no exception. I also squeezed in another staff room too. In this area we have camels, the grasslands, the food court, and now the caimans. And that's a lot of exhausted employees fighting over one staff room fit for 4. I don't want them to start a worker strike on me now. And I left the middle open for the caiman so they could still benefit from the sunlight whenever they are eating. Now to finish off the back wall for this habitat, this rock formation is so beautiful. Thank you so much to this creator here. I plucked this off the workshop. I have over 150 pieces that I am subscribed to on the workshop, and most of them are scenery pieces like this. I like to try and build my own buildings, but sometimes it's nice to pull things off the workshop so you can take them apart and see how the creator managed to make something so dang pretty. And speaking of workshop, I'm not sure if this zoo is going to end up on the workshop. I do use mods, which I will be listing in the description box below. But if I do decide to put this on the workshop, it'll be after I'm done with all 100 years of this zoo. And for my next series that I do, I will be taking my mods that don't play nice with the workshop out of my game and be making a modless playthrough for you guys so that way I can put it on the workshop and it is much easier to view. Time to snap our fingers and add rocks. Oh my gosh, so much better. Foliage. Beautiful. Also, don't forget to always be selling your butterflies. Just look at how much money these little beauties are bringing in for us. Let me just place these guys in here, and oh my gosh, look how tiny and cute! What was I thinking when I built them this gargantuan habitat? Here's our final look at our Cuvier's dwarf Caiman habitat. I am ashamed. I have no excuses this time for why I made such a luxuriously large space, but it looks cool. I might lose them in here though. Maybe I'll split this habitat in half and stick the other Caiman species on the top when and if we roll them. I really do like this dock and shack that I built up here. I also added a little heat light in there for them to bask. And there they have their mud pit complete with water to keep it nice and muddy for them. Welcome to Caiman Falls, I guess. Oh my god, this is so much more space than they need. Who is the new king and queen of this zoo? These guys, apparently. Sorry, King Arthur. Let's also change the water and make it a little less clear looking. Maybe add some bubbles. Oh, and some mist. Oh no, oh, too much mist. Abort the mist, that's too much. Oh god. Don't worry, I didn't forget to add the lilies. Well, I did for like half a second, but then I remembered. And look how cool our little one is swimming through them. I thought about just deleting the whole upper level, but then my Caiman Hydra demon walked up the ramp and into their honeymoon pool at the top, and I couldn't. And speaking of honeymoon, she's already pregnant and expecting some babies. Better make sure she gets some extra num yummies for the babies. Oh, twins. Look how stinking cute. I want a whole zoo with just reptiles. They just do not get enough love. And back to the wheel, what is the next animal that we are building for? Ooh, the grizzly bears. Oh, is he a distant cousin to the pandas? I don't know and I don't care. I love him already. And we are building with Festival. Oh, I haven't used the building materials from the Asia Animal Pack yet. And Twilight, which is from the Twilight Pack, obviously. The first thing I'm going to get to work on is copying and using these same rocks from our snow leopard habitat. I want to make a back rock wall, but I also want to make a cave. I want the bears to have a nice cozy place to hibernate. I then pushed back a bunch of the rocks near the back so I can make a little viewing area for them sleeping in their cave for our guests. This will also be a cave that the guests can enter and see the bears, learn some knowledge, donate their monies, and then leave. They could leave the cave. If you haven't noticed, I like to exploit my animals' sleeping spots. Now that kind of looks like a cave. I moved on to build the fence, and I admit I give the Twilight Pack far more attention in this build than the festival pieces. I can't help it. Just look how nice these pieces look. I love the way this double fence turned out. It looks so clean, so nice. Good job, me. I already feel like I used a lot of rocks, so I'm not going to go too ham on adding more, just a few. I also used rocks to cover the staff door too. If you didn't know, you could actually completely cover this door 100% and your staff will just walk through whatever building pieces you place on top of it. Spooky. And this is what we're looking at after a few rocks and foliage. Last, I'm going to add habitat-specific items for our bears. It seems like we have a few things researched already, so we'll be able to give them quite a bit of food and toy enrichment right from the start. Why are bears so damn expensive? Who did this? 10K? Really come on, guys. This is what is wrong with franchise mode. After about 20 or so minutes, I found one that was much more affordable to me, and I snagged her up as quickly as I could before she was gone. Placing the bears, I wanted to make sure that they couldn't escape, which they couldn't. All looks good. Oh, and just look at that. It's only double the size that they need. I'm okay with that. Welcome to my grizzly habitat. They have this little raised up area in the back so they can eat and still give the guests a nice view. And there, their little cozy cave is over here. These orange trees are some of my absolute favorite. And just look at this double fence. I can't get over how nice it turned out. We have our golden bear statue outside of Sleepy Bear Cave. And this bear claw statue is something I got off the workshop by this creator here. I thought it was too cute not to use. And into this cave we have more education where the educator will teach more about our bears back here. Just keep your voice down in the cave. We don't want to wake up the bears when they're hibernating. I don't know about you, but I mean, I could use a nice hibernation once a year too. Now back to the wheel, we got the Asian small-clawed otter. Oh, otters are so much fun to watch at the zoo. And we're going to be using Indonesian building pieces and East Asia building pieces. Now otters are confident around people, and it says people can enter their habitat. What? I want to know which zoo I can go to and sit with the otters. Please let me know. And it doesn't seem like they need much space. They do need water to swim in and to dive in. Now let's close this and promptly forget everything I just said. Starting off with their barrier, I'm going to be placing them outside the gift shop. This should be more than enough space for them. Getting the water to stay in this area took longer than I cared to admit. Now onto their little hide. This will be where they can hide from guests and sleep if they want a little peace and quiet. And no, I won't exploit their sleeping arrangements this time. And this is what we're looking like so far. I want a little creek in the middle of this habitat, and of course that means that we need waterfalls to keep the water moving. Don't want to create a cesspool for mosquitoes to exist in our zoo now, do we? Ugh. And after rocks, this is what we're working with. Now a little plant life to really bring it all together. I added some benches and a nice little covered area right outside the otter underwater viewing area so people can sit and just enjoy these little playful pups. Manager Googly Eye Bison is here to make sure that our workers take good care of our newest residents. Now let's add them to their home and oh dear. They hate everything. Well, can't win them all, I suppose. It's okay. I could fix this. I just need to rearrange some of my beautiful work. See, Panda, this is why we stay in sandbox mode. Hold please. This'll take a minute. There, now that wasn't too bad. It could have been way worse. They now have an area of deeper water to dive in. I might mess with this some more and make it deeper all over, but for now, this will just have to do. I think we might have to put these guys on contraceptive after a baby or two though, because they're right on the edge of what they like for this habitat size. Too big or too small? Apparently there's no in between for this panda. But look how cute they are! I'll do better next time, I promise. I know, I can hear you all yelling at me from the comments section. Panda, you forgot the deep water! And we have protesters. I swear, you let one koala die and it messes up the social group for all of them. These guys are just chomping at the bit to come in and wave their stupid signs around at whatever. It is okay, y'all can go home. I already adopted some new friends. My koala is no longer lonely. They're still chanting. Can I just pick them up and put them in there with the bears? Yeah, get it all out of your system. You good? You realized your mistake? You weren't even heading to the koalas. Why do you have low welfare? What's wrong? No climbing space? Wait, what? What do you mean? You have plenty of climbing space. Why don't you have the green little lines like you can climb? All the climbing is enabled. What's going on? Who knew out of all the animals, these little fuzzy butts would be the ones that give me the most trouble? It's okay though, I can't stay mad at them. Just look how cute and cuddly. Now back to the wheel, we got... Oh, the spectacle Caiman. Well, you know what? I know why I made Caiman Falls so darn big now. What if we just barricade this off like this? Have the guests walk across the falls on an elevated bridge-looking path thing, wrap a path around like so. Maybe we could put the other Caiman up here. Now the guests don't have any other choice but to turn around and walk back out. Not ideal, but I think for now this could work out pretty well. This upper level will really get some use out of it now, see? I got way too ambitious with this build the first time around, but it all seems to have worked out in my favor in the end, so you know, yay. What do you guys think of our new Caiman Falls? I personally think it's one of my favorites so far. And the bear fence. I really like how clean that turned out. I have to give myself little play breaks, otherwise I would just keep it paused and build forever. I mean, we have the money. The zoo is doing great. Do I need to think about another entrance soon? Or a ride? Ugh, I hate the rides. They just seem to guzzle down the money and have no good return back. There are babies everywhere up in the menagerie. I got baby cows just mooing away over here without a care in the world. Baby otters, they're the cutest and probably one of my all-time favorites, next to pandas of course. And look! So many baby dwarf caiman, and now Mama Spectacle Caiman is going to give birth as well to 1, 2, 3, 4, oh my, 5? 5, oh my god. Okay, maybe we need to go ahead and put Papa on some contraceptive because he is locked and loaded apparently. 5, well, they are cute, aren't they? Just look at those big ol' eyes. Adorable. I'm here for the babies and the building, if you don't know, the double Bs. But we will get back to talking about my double Bs another time. Let's go back to rolling the wheel. Next up is the puff adder. Oh, our first exhibit animal for this video. That's good. I do need a break from overbuilding habitats. And you guys know I'm already going to make another expanded exhibit. I can't help it. I really think these little boxes should be bigger. Well, I guess I think everything should be bigger, honestly. And that was your opportune moment to say, that's what she said. I got this simple yet nice expanded exhibit up and running. I feel like each one of my exhibits could be so much more unique by making them larger than they really are, and I'm really enjoying making these. Can you tell? Back to the wheel for another spin. Come on, wheel, I'm on a roll. Big money, no whammies. Ooh, the Bengal Tiger. Now that's what I'm talking about. Big kitty. And today I will be overbuilding with Zookeeper and Planet Zoo themes. I don't even know why I am looking at this. I'm going to make this double the size they need at least. I have a problem. The Trade Center does have some tigers, but dear lord people, why? Adriana, does this tiger poop gold, huh? What about you? Namar? Huh? Does it fly? No. Rook Zoo? Does your tiger have a unicorn horn that can shoot rainbows? Jeez, guys, this is what is wrong with franchise mode. People are here to have fun. What good does it do to hoard millions of conservation credit points, huh? What does it even do? Annoying. Whatever. Not gonna worry about that now. First, the part we all love to hate. The path. I wanted an elevated area for the guests to really get a good view of the tigers, and this will later also be where our educator will hold their talks as well, and under the elevated path we will put our one-way glass for, you guessed it, their sleeping spot. Now, it took me way too long messing with this path, but I think I finally got it to the way I want, or at least the way the game wants me to want it. Whatever, it's good enough. And yeah, I can already tell this is going to tell me that it is too big, but it really doesn't look that big to me. Oh well, I'm not gonna change it. No, I'm not gonna. I like it, and this will do. Especially after I added some rocks and a small pond with a little bit of a stream going through their habitat. I'm also going to add a shelter, but not for sleeping. They already have that in front of the guests. I'm going to place their food in the shelter instead. Now that the rocks are done, let's focus on some foliage. Much better. I adore the cherry blossom tree, they look so good in here. And adding the rest of the species-specific habitat items, I think it is just about time that we add our tigers in here and have them have a look around. This is our finished tiger habitat, complete with shed for them to enjoy their meals in, their sleeping area that is covered by the elevated pathway, and this cute little creek area that opens to a much bigger pond with a lovely cherry blossom in the middle. I used the special effects to simulate the cherry blossoms falling, and I love it. Coming up to the top of the walkway, we have our covered talk point ready for our educator to teach our guests all about our new tigers. And of course, down at the bottom, we have some benches and a wonderful view into the tiger habitat. I hope the guests appreciate the work I put into this. I gave it at least a medium amount of thought, honestly. Oh, and look, tigers can climb the cherry blossoms. I don't know why that seems like such a shock to me. They are just big cats after all. Look how cute she is up there. These two wasted a little time on getting down with making some babies for the zoo, and I'm not mad about it. Guests, and especially Panda, we just love the little babies. Oh, just one this time, Mama? That's okay. He's gonna be a little terror, I can tell. Oh, and the little noises he makes. I love him so much already. The animations he have when he's laying down are just the cutest. But I have wasted a long enough time on this play break. We are on year 40, 10 more to go. Let's see what I will be working on next. The wheel says the Scimitar horned Oryx. Oh, wait a minute. Are they one of the species that can cohabitate with the African buffalo? I think it is. Ooh, it is. Oh, well, that's just wonderful. I was worried that they would be stuck in there all alone. Fantastic. The trade center only has ladies right now, but I'm going to adopt these and add them into the grasslands. Yes, work, my minions. Googly Eye Bison commands you to work. And after placing them and making sure that they cannot escape, we can see that there is still plenty of space for 1 or 2, or maybe 3 more species to be added into the grasslands. Oh, and look at them instantly going undercover to start a cuddle puddle with the buffaloes. Welcome to your new home, ladies. Now I got work to do. Next up from the wheel, we rolled the red-eyed tree frog, an exhibit animal. Well, you know what that means. Yep, another larger exhibit. Not much to say here. This turned out fantastic. I love it. The mist effect is just chef's kiss. We're on a roll. Now let's go. Next up we have the European Fallow Deer. Such beautiful deer. One of my favorites next to the red deers. And for our building theme for this build, we are going to be using classic and Europe. Oh, very fitting. Starting off, I'm going to just place down this fence to keep the guests on their path. I don't want them to try and stick their hands in the habitat and pet the deers, because Lord knows that's what I would want to do. Then I'm going to combine a few of these metal pieces and make a larger fence to put behind the first layer of fence to keep the deer from jumping over and escaping. I want to leave this area open over here for the educator to be able to interact with the deer though, and really give the guests a good up-close look at them while teaching people all about them. Next, I want to make a sleeping area for the deer, and you know I'm adding windows to it for the guests to catch them snoozing. It was about this time that I realized that this was definitely too big of an area for the deer, and don't worry, I scaled it way back for them. There, now this looks way more cozy for them. I wanted to pretend that this is a feed silo right next to the habitat. I'm going to put a fake door on it, knowing that my staff will just phase right through the wall either way. And I'm going to put the keeper hut in here. Now, if you look at the heat map, you can see that the guests will still be pretty upset if they were close to this keeper hut because it's not decorated enough. Typical whiners. So I'm going to show you guys a little trick. In the plants area, there is one that you should all favorite. It's called the century plant. This plant is base game, so everyone should have it. If you place this plant and then on PC, Control Z and rotate it just slightly and keep doing that a few times, maybe like 10 or so, until they're all fanned out, they're all stacked on top of each other like this. Select them all, merge the scenery into one piece so it's easier for you to move, and just move it right next to your building that you want to lower the heat map for. And you only need like 1. You don't even need more than 1. But you could place more if you want to. Pop back into the heat map just to make sure, and look at how much it reduced the area. There, that's your panda tip for the day, folks. You're welcome. Stepping back, this is what our habitat is looking like so far. Next, the magic of rocks. Looking good, but it could be better. Now let's add some foliage next. Let's finish up the guest path and add our habitat-specific items like feeding trough, water, some enrichment items that I recolored. I found a male and some females to add in. So let's take a closer look at this beautiful habitat. I really like the way the foliage just brought the whole thing to life. It is just so dang pretty. I can get pretty carried away when it comes to foliage, but I think for this, it works very well for this particular species. Of course, the guests can see the fallow deer sleeping in their nice heated barn with education sprinkled around. I love the little leaf piles that I added onto the roof. It's not an easy place for the keepers to clean off on a regular basis. And that is our European fallow deer habitat. Done. Again, fallow deers are one of my favorite species of deer. I love how they keep all their little spots that are normally only found on fawns and other species. It didn't take long for the male fallow to get down with his ladies and start popping out some babies for the menagerie either. Just look how adorable! And also, I found a male Oryx in the trade center, so the zoo now has another new addition. Oh no, baby, don't step in that! Ew, keeper! We need a keeper over here. Gross. Not you, baby. You're cute. Don't worry. I added some more food and water over by the grizzlies to help the guests since the lines have been so long in all of our other places. But we can't have donuts without some coffee, right? And I should definitely add another bathroom if we're adding coffee. I'm just saying. The next couple of rolls ended up being exhibit animals, which I didn't spend too much time on. The Goliath Beetle I just placed in an exhibit down by the new food stalls that I just made. Just stuck the beetles in there and called it a day. I was having a really hard time accepting how big these boys are, so I wanted to insert a picture of a male Goliath Beetle on a person's hand. Just look how huge! My soul would leave my body if one of those came flying at me. The next exhibit animal that we rolled was the Golden Poison Frog, and I know exactly where this one will go. Right next to our red-eyed tree frog. I built most of this on the grid, so it was pretty easy to just copy this over and mirror it to the other side. Made a few tweaks so that way it fit the frame of the shell better. Changed this giant frog yellow, and that really brought it all together. Added a sign and some education for our guests. Just look at these little cuties. My child was homesick when I was building this, and he wanted me to name all the frogs. So let me introduce you guys to Banana, Papaya, Nacho, and Bell Pepper. Absolutely perfect names if you ask me. Right back to the wheel, and it says Blacktail Prairie Dogs. Ooh. And I'm going to be using Zookeeper and Australian themes to build with. Now, if you're just starting out in franchise mode and you want a good species to start with to put at the front, this is the species for you. They're small, they don't require a lot, they're cute as all heck. I've been waiting to roll a turtle or something to put in the front of my zoo, but these little Blacktail Prairie Dogs will be perfect for this spot. And I know I rolled a few themes, but I'm going to be just using a couple of building pieces to make a custom fence, and then I'm going to be mostly just using terrain modification for their habitats. I want to use these habitat burrows, and I want at least 2 of them. But after playing with the terrain a bit, I realized that it wasn't going to be as easy as I was hoping it would be. After I place them down, it flattens a huge area out, and I can't even build the terrain up and over them to like cover it, which is kind of annoying. So I will use my tried and true rocks. Rocks will help everything out. I downloaded from the workshop a color match to all the faux rocks from the aquatic pack, and I'm going to be using these to better fill in the little mounds. I'm also going to try not to go overboard with the foliage, but it's so hard. This buffalo grass just yearns to be everywhere, does it not? It brings so much life to a habitat. Favorite buffalo grass too, it's just too good. Finishing it up with the new keeper hut and some decorative foliage around the area to help fill in the empty spaces. And here is our final flyover. With education and enrichment added, the keepers have their own area to enter and feed these little guys. I just really like the way all these faux rocks came together to help build up this mound and hide not 1, but 2 burrows for our new little prairie dogs. What do you guys think? They are so cute. Look at them. I'm really happy that they could walk through the grass. Sometimes foliage can stop animals from moving around in an area. Oh, and look at this one playing with the bubbles. Oh, my heart. Bless his little soul. And they do use the habitat burrows, which is really good to know, but most of the time they just kind of make their own burrow. Just look at all the holes they've left in the habitat already. Back to the wheel. Come on, this might be our last build. Give me something good. Give me something... Oh, the Somalian wise ass. I mean wild. You know, let's just call it an Equus. Yeah. And for the habitat, I will be using Zookeeper and Oceana themes. Very interesting. Okay, pretty sure these are desert-dwelling donkeys, but well, let's just see what we can come up with. I'm going to stick them behind the fallow and the grassland area to help drive guests this way even more, although I don't think these are one of the more appealing animals, to be honest. Nothing too crazy going on over here, just going to add a simple custom double fence for both our guests and our new hoofed friends. Then I'm going to start adding some shelter to this area, and to me this didn't quite look big enough, so I did end up pushing the shelter back just a little bit. Nothing too complicated, just add some rocks, sprinkle in some foliage, and these guys are pretty easy, just the desert biome to choose from. I dot the new habitat with enrichment items that should keep them pretty happy. After placing them in here, I realized that I was either really good at predicting the size with it being just right, or I coulda, shoulda went a little bigger. Either way, this daddy donkey will be getting some contraceptive after giving us a baby for the zoo. And here is our final flyover. Simple and cute for our new pair of Somali Wild Asses. Asses? I don't know. Stop saying asses, Panda. Oh, and that didn't take too long. Look. Look at how cute the little one is. The Somali are critically endangered, so it is good that we're able to breed them, even if it is just one at a time. I think I have time for one more animal to be added to the zoo. What do y'all think? What am I saying? Of course you agree. Let's go. Come on, Wheel. Give me something big. I'm ready for it. Goliath Frog. Thanks, Wheel. Okay, nothing to see here. I just added this into the area with all the other frogs. I did decide to call this area Frog Alley, though. It did seem fitting. Before we rolled on into year 50, I made sure all my vets finished up research for all the new species that we have added into the zoo this go-around. The zoo is still flourishing, with guest education still kind of trailing behind, and now guest happiness is also starting to fall. I will need to work on adding some more food and water around the park next go-around. Pretty sure thirst is my biggest complaint. Whiny little buggers, aren't they? But we have reached profit year after year, and that is all we can hope for. In fact, as we're heading into year 50, we just hit $3 million in the zoo's bank account. We're ready for elephants, ladies and gentlemen. Also, before I show you the final flyer on the zoo, look what I discovered. A melanistic fallow deer. Look how beautiful she is. I was hoping for a boy, but maybe she'll be able to give me some sons. I'm so happy she's so beautiful. I thought about making a black and white zoo with nothing but melanistic and albinos. You know, like a panda. And look at that! She has the best name too, if I do say so myself. She even has the H, which is the only correct way to spell Sarah. And year 51 kicks off with the giant anteater, the majestic, snuffly vacuum of the animal kingdom. And our building themes for this habitat will be rustic and South America. So I rolled up my sleeves and I'm going to try not to overbuild this one, but no promises. Step 1, as always, I'll be making a custom fence that is high enough to keep our anteaters in, and another second layer that'll keep our guests' grubby little hands out. Step 2, a cozy covered house with no windows. Don't worry, I will leave these little guys in peace. Then comes my favorite editing magic trick, the habitat glow up. First it's barren, and then it's got beautiful majestic rocks, and then a touch of foliage, until it is actually looking like something a professional zoo might approve of. Oddly enough, Planet Zoo decided that anteaters don't deserve an ant hill as enrichment? I don't know, but I added everything else that I possibly could have. Finally, I found 2 long-nosed lads on the trade center and got their health checks and moved them right on in. I immediately proved that they couldn't escape, which is the bare minimum we ask for around here. A little education, a sign over their hidey hole, and voila! 25 more years of chaos begins with a snout that won't quit. Now, giant anteaters are a vulnerable species because of deforestation that threatens their natural habitat, which is just horribly sad when you think about it. So I added this deforestation education diorama that I got off the workshop from this creator here. Thank you so much, it is so beautiful. Hopefully the guests will stop by and read up on the harmful effects that deforestation has been having on several species of animals. But enough about that sad drivel, let's look at our cute little fluffy anteaters. Did you know that giant anteaters are toothless? And that long sticky tongue that they use to gather up termites and ants is up to 2 feet long? They could flick it in and out 150 times per minute. That's insane to me. Just look at their little baby. They also walk on their knuckles with their front feet. And they may be slow moving, but if necessary, they can gallop up to 30 miles an hour. I mean, I could never do that. So, guess who escaped? Yes, my koala. Again. At this point, I think they're less cute marsupials and more like tiny Australian Houdinis. I swear these little fluff balls have some kind of secret society dedicated to making me just look bad. I followed one around as he just casually strolled through the zoo like he owned the place. Guests laughing, kids pointing, everyone having the time of their life. Meanwhile, I'm panicking because all it takes is for one runaway to make the whole zoo look like... Yep, and there's the fine from the inspector. Great! Just great. I watched him waddle his fuzzy butt straight out of the habitat like he was clocking out of his 9 to 5. He even climbed the fence that leads back into his own habitat, and then decided, nah, I like freedom better. And then, I swear this was a glitch, he ended up dangling upside down off the fence like he was some kind of koala bat. Just clinging there, defying gravity, while the guests were losing their absolute minds. They're wondering if this is part of the show. Mommy is that that koala broken? Maybe. Or maybe he just needs a cape and he's Bat Koala now. I think even the game engine gave up on trying to calculate koala physics. At this point, I'm convinced he's just mocking me. So yeah, year 52 wasn't about new builds or conservation facts, it was about survival. Mine. And fun fact, koalas sleep 20 hours a day. The other 4 dedicated entirely to prison breaks. See? I don't know if that's true, I just made that last part up. The wheel has spoken. It is a binturong time. Or as some people call them, the bear cat. Even though they're not bears, and they're definitely not cats. For their home, the build wheel gods blessed me with the themes Europe and Planet Zoo. Don't ask me what Planet Zoo theme it's supposed to be. I don't know. I think it's just like they throw in everything else that didn't have a proper home for a theme, and that's it. The Planet Zoo theme. Did you know that binturongs have a superpower? Yep. And their actual superpower is smelling like popcorn? I'm not joking. If you ever walked into a movie theater lobby and thought, buttery goodness, that could also just be a binturong. I think it's their urine that makes them smell that way though, so that might not be a good thing. I'm building this chunky mesh fence so they can't climb out. I'm also going to slap down a second guest fence because apparently my visitors like to lose fingers. Unfortunately, since these pieces wanted to snap together, I had to edit and place each one individually. Usually you can just hit Ctrl-D to duplicate your fence, and that'll give you free range to use Ctrl-Z to rotate it at the same plane that you're on. But oh well, sometimes you have to do things the hard way. I used the terrain tool to raise up a bit of the midsection that I wanted to use here to add trees to. I gave them a simple but effective hideout for them to seek cover in when it rains. Of course, I did my signature HD TV glow up edit where we start with a barren land, and then we go in with our wonderful rock work, and then foliage for a lovely glow up. And yes, I placed them near the deforestation display since sadly binturongs are another species getting hammered by habitat loss. So I made sure to give them plenty of trees, nothing but the best for my little bear cats. After placing them in their new home, the game tried to tell me that these guys could escape through this totally normal corner in their habitat. I have no idea how, unless they were planning to phase shift through the mesh like some kind of Marvel supervillain. My solution was just to copy and paste the mesh part of the fence and just shove it into the earth and pretend it's not there. And look, there we go. Problem solved. 2 popcorn bear cats moved in, not going anywhere, unlike my koala. I added the usual education and signage, and we wrap up with a flyover shot with them living their best little forest floor lives. Meanwhile, I'm sure the guests are wondering why it smells like an AMC concession over here. But yeah, simple and cute, and it works for our little bear cats, and I love it. Binturong. I keep wanting to call them binturang, but they're not the avatar. Year 53, no prison breaks, no glitches, just weird animals that smell like snacks. What's your favorite snack at the movies? I don't really go to the movies. It's so expensive. And the money I spend to go see a movie in theaters, I could just buy the movie when it comes out, you know? I did take the boys to see the Minecraft movie though. That was kind of cute. Next up, the Californian sea lion. And listen, this wasn't my choice. My kid rolled the wheel this time, and the moment he saw sea lion, his eyes lit up, and he demanded the biggest pool ever. So of course, I became his construction worker on command. No theme rolls for this one. Tiny human gets priority. And if he says epic pool, we're building an epic pool. So first off, I'm going to use the glass barrier to shape this massive tank to hold the water. Way bigger than it needs to be, but do I care? No, my kid's happy. Therefore, I am happy. After that, I raised the terrain behind it for the backstage area. Then I plastered everything. The walls, the floor, the backstage area, the guests area. If it could be plastered, I plastered it. It took forever, but it actually turned out smoother than I expected. Thank the gods for the grid. Then came the indoor kind of section where I intended to add a food stall, maybe a water stall, and an info booth, and some bathrooms. As I was working on the roof, I decided I needed to go back and add some stuff to the inside before the roof was totally finished, because it would be a lot harder to add inside stuff with the roof actually on because of the camera angles with placing stuff. So it was time for some benches for the guests to sit down and some planters with some sneaky trash cans hidden inside. Of course, guest education so people can know what they're staring at when they're looking at these adorable blubbery acrobats. bats. Outside I used this Education Talk Points seating shell made by this creator here, and this super cute talking point cover that was made by this creator on the workshop, so guests can learn more while the sea lions are doing their splashing. Finally, the stars of the show. 6 Californian sea lions, 2 males, 4 females were added, and they went immediately into their pool, just living their absolute best lives. And no, they can't escape, though given how big the tank is, they probably wouldn't want to anyways. Is it nearly 10 times larger than necessary? Absolutely! Do I care? Nope. My kid wanted epic, and epic is what he got. This build took me nearly 5 hours, the longest of my Planet Zoo career, but I learned so much, and in the end, totally worth it, because when your kid grins at the sea lions diving around in their oversized luxury resorts, that's the real win. Did you know that baby sea lions actually sound like sheep? Yeah, the ocean gave us barking dogs in the water and tiny aquatic lambs. Nature seems pretty confused when it comes to these little guys. And also, sea lions can get up to speeds of 25 miles an hour in the water, which means in a race, I would lose badly. On land too, probably. I did record what my kid thought of my finished pool, and I will be putting that in at the end of the video. He's a typical kid. Savage. But enough of that, let's go back to the wheel and see what we rolled next. The yellow anaconda. Oh, good. I need a break from crazy builds after that one. Not really much to say about this. It's just another one of my expanded exhibits that I placed behind the binturongs. I'm planning on posting the longer versions of my builds to show you how you can also achieve this look with both mods installed and without mods installed. You do not need mods to make expanded exhibits, I promise. So stay on the lookout for those. Yellow anacondas are not venomous. They are one of the largest snakes in the world, getting up to 15 feet long. Oh my jeebus, that is a long danger noodle. Yikes. Anyways, back to spin the wheel I go. The Egyptian fruit bat, a walkthrough exhibit species, and I've heard these guys print money just like butterflies do. Is that true? I rolled East Asian and Twilight as the theme. And before anyone starts, no, I'm not sticking my guests in an enclosed space with flying teeth missiles. This isn't a haunted house, it's a zoo. Instead, I opted for something more realistic, more guest safe. And of course, I don't want Manager Googly Eyed Bison on my case. I'm going to build a viewing house, and I have the perfect name for it. Now, hear me out. This will be the Tomb of the Fruit Eaters. I mean, obviously, right? Where guests can safely peek in at bats through a glass wall. I'm going to also cheat and add mesh towards the top of the glass. It's high enough to hear them fluttering around and the little noises that the bats make, but not low enough for anyone to stick their fingers in and find out if the fruit bats are secretly a little spicy. The structure itself includes everything it needs: a keeper hut, power, staff access, you know, the boring zoo stuff. And I added some trimming onto the glass to hide the glass seams, because in Mom's Zoo we have standards. And I used some lovely custom workshop wall pieces to detail the back from this creator here. I added a dreamy night sky mural using the Billboard's background mod, I believe that's what it's called, to give it more of a gothic bat luxury vibe. And because I am incapable of doing anything halfway, I decided to make a black light fixture for the ceiling. I removed one of my roof panels, added a cage to protect the light from the bats landing on them. Then I painstakingly duplicated that setup across the whole ceiling. The bats have ambiance now. You're welcome. Inside, I added a few benches for guests to take a shady break from the outside heat. I sprinkled in some foliage and some rocks without going full-on jungle. Still waiting for that enrichment research, because I'm not really sure where the enrichment items go in here. Thought the wall was looking a little bare, so I added some bats and pretended it was a mural on the wall. I slapped this education panel on the wall. Unfortunately, I lost the footage where I built the front sign, so you'll just have to use your imagination of me placing letters over and over and over again. I mean, you've seen me suffer through signage before. It was that again. Outside, I added some foliage for flair, and after what felt like an eternity of refreshing the trade center, I finally got enough bats to populate the habitat. We placed them in, and that's it. The Tomb of the Fruit Eaters is open to the public. And if you're thinking, wait, how does a walkthrough exhibit work without guests being able to walk through it? Well, the trick is, don't connect the path. That's it. Change the inside path to a null path to make it just completely disappear, and it functions just like a habitat. The bats are happy, the guests are safe, and nobody's being chased by airborne bananas with wings. 10 out of 10, googly-eyed bison approved. After I made this, I did some research to see if there was indeed walkthrough exhibits for bats, and I did find one. There is one in the Prairie Dog, which is in Belgium. They They have an old crypt under an abbey that a colony of bats has taken over, and they allow guests to go down into the crypt and walk around with the bats fluttering overhead. That's pretty neat. I'm not sure what is more unnerving, the fact that there's bats flying over your head and people say they get pretty close to you, or that you're wandering around in an old crypt. Would you guys go to an old crypt and walk around with bats? Next up on the Wheel of Fate, the Western Lowland Gorilla! Yes! The second I saw this, I did yell, "Gorillas!" Like I was in a 1999 Disney movie. You're welcome for that little taste of nostalgia. I also rolled Rustic and South America for our building themes, which honestly feels a little on the nose, but I'm not mad about it. I need to expand the zoo anyways, so that way we can help deal with some of the front-end traffic jam that is turning into a guest mosh pit. So we carved out a nice new plaza where our new big fuzzy monkey man friends will live. Or, apes. Excuse me. Or do you think that they prefer being called Saiyans? I'll have to ask them when they get here. Starting off, I work on building a custom barrier complete with some glass, some bamboo, and some ropes, so the guests can get a good look, but you know, no kids are gonna be falling in this time. Now, I'm not naming any names, but I think we all know who I'm talking about. Then I sculpted the back with rocks to form a natural boundary and added a bit of terrain height variation. Nothing too fancy, cause listen, terrain tools and we're in a rocky relationship, okay? But don't worry, we're in couples counseling and I'm getting better at understanding them. Then it's the fan favorite makeover moment, the best transition in all of Planet Zoo YouTube history. Raw, boring terrain, then beautiful rocks, and then finally, jungle foliage explosion. To help fill in space, and because I was feeling fancy, I plopped in this amazing treehouse bridge from the workshop from this creator here, which I fully expect and demand my gorillas to use like a jungle runway. Spoiler, they never do. Dropped in some habitat items, covered up my water source, and plopped in a jet to make it look a little better. I already have plenty of enrichment items researched to go around this time. I think there was a community challenge a while back for like lemurs or something, and that's why I have all these. Because I've never had gorillas in franchise, so I know they are not researched. Anyone else wish that you could just reset research each time you open a franchise zoo? No? Just me? Okay. And of course, our googly-eyed bison manager is on site making sure everyone was doing their job. He's always watching, and he never blinks. Ever. After tossing those guys in there, I had to check to make sure that they could not escape, which they couldn't. Good job, me. Then I painted some new terrain textures around just to get them fully to 100% on their happiness. And we're not gonna talk about the size, okay? It's not about the size, it's about how you use it. To finish off the new plaza, I built a restaurant because, let's be real, restaurants are way better than food stalls every day of the week. No garbage, full stop. That's all you have to say. Sign me up. No garbage. This is going to be less intensive than the Hungry Hippo. An open bar and grill, if you would. I'm just going to use some grid pieces to cover the shell, but I don't want to cover up the cooks. I think it's kind of cool that you can see them. I'm going to add some support to this portion of the roof, and I think it turned out pretty good. We're going to name this the Gorilla Grill. I was going to call it the Grilla, but it doesn't sound right. So we're just going to call it the Gorilla Grill instead. Grilla. I don't know. Also, make sure you add a bathroom outside of your restaurant. Normally, guests have to go to the bathroom right after eating, so you know, it's nice to have one close by. It's basically science. So let's take a closer look at our hard work in our flyover, where you can see the guests can get a really close look at the gorillas thanks to the glass wall. And no, they're not one-way glass. Gorillas are not shy at all, don't worry. I can't wait to catch one of my new ape friends walking across this large treehouse bridge. Hopefully sooner rather than later. In the back, there's a few sleeping nests for them to cozy up into, and it's all near our new Gorilla Grill. Guests can now enjoy their nachos while watching gorillas forage, climb, and just cuddle up in their sleeping nests. It's the perfect combo of wildlife conservation and cheeseburger in hand. Now come on, this has to be a better restaurant animal than the hippos, right? Right? And it took no time at all for our gorillas to start, you know, making baby gorillas, because nothing boosts zoo appeal like adorable, chunky infants wobbling around like tiny muscle potatoes. Just look at this little guy. This cuteness should be illegal. He's adorable. Now, do I have a gorilla fact off the top of my head that I could just rattle off to you guys? Why, yes. Yes, I do. Thanks for asking. Did you know that the western lowland gorilla is actually the smallest subspecies of gorilla? I mean, they're still huge, and they're still capable of bench pressing nearly 1,000 pounds if they wanted to. But in the gorilla world, they're basically the compact model. Also, despite that intimidating strength, they're mostly herbivores, living on fruits, leaves, the occasional stick. And even though they look like they could star in a monster movie, they're incredibly shy and gentle by nature. Unless you mess with their babies, then good luck, son, you better run. It was at that moment, doing the boring management stuff and completely minding my own business, that I saw him. Our first albino, KO. Wait, KO? No. That is not a glorious enough name for someone so important. You shall forever be known as Ghost Noodle. There, that's better. With those piercing red eyes and milky scales, he looks less like a Caiman and more like a mythical beast spawned from the moonlight. A Patronus. Like if a marshmallow had claws. Like if a vampire decided to cosplay as a reptile. He's beauty. He is grace. He's currently enjoying the VIP status. But I might put him in cryo storage for the upcoming black and white zoo that I'd like to do, where his noodle powers will truly shine. And we're back to the wheel, which this time spit out the Taiga. You know, that wonderfully weird looking animal that kind of looks like a mix between a goat, an antelope, and my vacuum cleaner? And the building themes, North Africa and Zookeeper, which, let's be honest, aren't exactly serving a buffet of building pieces. But I like a challenge. And by challenge, I mean I'm going to mash together whatever doesn't look completely cursed and pretend it was intentional. So, of course, step one, as always, is our custom barrier. I mix some interesting bits together to keep our snuffly nosed friends in place. Then I reuse our tried and true Ostrich era guest barrier because if it ain't broken and it keeps the toddlers from reaching through, don't fix it. Or something like that, right? Now it looks kind of sad, kind of empty, kind of like my willpower on a Monday morning. But you know what fixes everything around here? Rocks, baby! Better already. And now look at that. It looks like I actually know what I'm doing. Time to pan over to our favorite manager, the googly-eyed bison, who is watching the delivery of our brand new Taiga ladies, only females on the market today, which was a little sad because I'm here for the babies in the building, people. And yeah, I never did find a male Taiga. Pour one out for the dreams of Taiga babies, you guys. I placed their enrichment, dropped in one of the pre-built shelters because our theme pieces were lacking with this one, and smoothed out the terrain paint to better match their liking. I added some education boards so the guests can go, oh wow, what is that thing? And not just, mommy, why does that deer have a nose like a whoopee cushion? And speaking of guests, my kid walked in mid-build and asked, why is that camel missing its hump, Mom? I mean, valid. Sorry, Taiga, no disrespect. You're cute in your own snorkel Muppet kind of way. Now let's pause the chaos for some actual real-world knowledge, shall we? Did you know that Taiga's wibbly wobbly cute little snoot isn't just for stealing the spotlight? Nope, it's functional and fashionable. A glorious nose works like a built-in air conditioning, filtering in dust and cooling the air before it hits their lungs, which helps them survive the scorching summers of Central Asia. Meanwhile, I could barely walk to the mailbox in July without completely melting. Oh, and get this, I found this interesting. By day 2 of life, a Taiga baby can already outrun a grown adult human. Excuse me? These guys are out here running 50 miles an hour and dodging predators? Evolution. Now you're just showing off, like. Next up from the wheel, the African crested porcupine. The theme pairing will be Australia and aquatic? I mean, sure, why not? Those spiky land potatoes definitely scream deep sea decor, right? Anyways, I'm leaning heavier into the Australian side of things because these porcupines didn't pack their swim trunks. I promised myself I wouldn't make this habitat too big, for once, and I think I actually stuck to that. I started with a simple null barrier for the layout, just to check my size. Then I added a charming rustic log fence for the guests. No double fencing here. If the guests really want to risk a surprise acupuncture session, that is all on them. Then I started building their little shelter, a cozy house-looking structure with a mix of Aussie wood textures. I had planned on using the Australian roof too, but on a whim I tried tried recoloring the aquatic roof pieces, and oh my gosh, it looks so good. Like, unexpectedly perfect. Mental note, use this roof and recolor it more often for everything. Speaking of the aquatic DLC, it is a must-have, not for fish, because why would we have those in Planet Zoo, but for the colorable faux rocks alone. Top tier for your rock game. 100% Panda approved. Now, when I go to place rocks, I didn't do the whole transformation montage or cutaway like usual. I was just in the zone. I was clicking rocks, rotating rocks, stacking rocks, swapping out rocks because they felt wrong. I like to use a combo of different sizes and different types to make the rock structure look more natural. And of course, some of these deliciously colorable faux rocks from the aquatic DLC pack. We need more small rocks in this game. Can we start a petition or something? I didn't want to cover the habitat too much in foliage. Okay, yes, I did go a little wild with the buffalo grass, okay? I can't help myself. It's a problem. Don't judge me. Then came our prickly VIPs, a male and a female, adopted and placed it into the habitat. And then it was time to add enrichment items. Even though I have not researched them, I have quite a few things unlocked already. And there we have it, a simple, sweet little habitat for our African crested porcupines. Honestly, it's the kind of build that proves that you don't need to go full-on architect every time to create something that works. Sure, those insanely detailed mega habitats on Reddit are fun to look at, but let's be real, sometimes they're more anxiety-inducing than inspiring. This space is proof that even smaller, more laid-back builds can still feel unique and full of character. Not everything has to be over the top to be great. So if you've ever looked at your blank zoo and thought, I can't do all that crazy detailed stuff, don't worry, you don't have to. Let this be a reminder that sometimes keeping it simple can still spark a lot of creativity. And hey, if I can do it, you can definitely do it too. Next up on the Wheel of Chaos, the Okapi! A solid pull. And the build themes? New World and South America. I mean, that fits pretty okay-ish, even though the Okapi is technically from Central Africa. But we'll just roll with it, it's fine. I decided to place them near the giant anteaters and the binturong since all three are sadly victims of deforestation in some form or another, and our conservation message will stay constant in this little corner of our zoo. So we're going to start with the barrier, and yes, I'm using one-way glass again, even though it's not exactly in theme, because these guys are super shy. And with over 6,000 guests barreling through the zoo each day, rip my PC, I want our stripy zebra butted friends to feel safe. I carved out a quick little keeper access area for the staff so we can feed and research them without having to trek too far. Then I jumped into the beautification stage, and that means rocks. Of course, rocks. I know, but look, it's lovely. Oh, and I also added a cozy custom waterfall because why not? And then we hit it with some foliage. Oh, so beautiful. I love the way that the foliage just ties everything all together. Habitat items are in, things are looking good, and here come the stars of the show, the Okapi. Except they're less than impressed. Oops. Turns out I still didn't give them enough space. Oh no. The space meter was yellow. Yellow! Rude. So I pushed back some of the rock walls just a little bit. I did a little bit of tweaking, and now we're just in the green. Just barely. But hey, they're happy, and now I'm happy. All I want is a trio anyways, a mom, dad, and a baby. So there you have it. A quiet, cozy, shy animal-approved habitat that anyone can build. Simple and functional. Did you know that the Okapi wasn't even discovered by Western scientists until 1901? People literally did not believe that it was real until they could see it in person. Proof that the best animals are the ones who stay unbothered and mysterious. Can you imagine being the first person who spotted an Okapi in the wild? Trying to explain to people with no photo evidence. It's got the body of a horse, the legs of a zebra, the neck of a giraffe, but not too long, and the ears of a bunny? Everyone at the office just slowly scooting their chairs away while you insist, no guys, I swear it's real. It's like half giraffe, half zebra, half deer, man, bear, pig. Alright, enough panda. It's time to be super cereal right now. The Okapi are settling in, probably still a little confused about their own identity, but comfortable nonetheless. With their hooves on the ground and their snacks within reach, it's time to once again let the wheel decide what we will be building next. And this time we rolled the Dal sheep, also known as the Ovis. Oh my gosh, my personal favorite of mine, especially when playing Ark Survival Ascended with my kids. For themes, we got Arctic and Indonesian. A little odd, but hey, we'll make it work. First things first, pathing. Oh boy, pathing in Planet Zoo is like arguing with a toddler. It's messy, irrational, and sometimes you just give up and walk away. But I wanted an elevated viewing area for the guests to look down into the habitat, especially since I was planning on some mountain climbing terrain along the back wall. This way, the guests and Dal sheep will actually be on eye level when those fluffy goats go full mountain man mode. Next up was the custom fence. I decided to branch out from the themes a bit to use some mesh, and I combined it with a shop front wall to make this super simple, really clean looking fence. It wraps around the whole area except for where I'm going to be using rocks to seal things in. Then came a moment of panic. Was the path even high enough for the sheep to get under it? Oh my god. I dropped some sheep into the habitat, I held my breath, and... yes! Oh, just barely, but they fit. Crisis averted. I was this close to having a slight meltdown over the fact that I might have to redo the path. After that, I got to work on sculpting the mountain path that they would use to climb on the back wall. Dal sheep are native to places like Alaska and Canada. They're absolute pros at climbing super steep slopes to avoid predators. And while I don't have any plans of putting any predators in here, I still wanted them to feel at home. And many checks later, they can traverse the whole rock path with no issue, and I love that for them. Then came foliage and beautifying the outside of the habitat. I kept it pretty light on the inside. I didn't add too much. A couple trees, some logs, of course some grass. I also used plants around the outer path to fill in those kind of awkward empty spaces. A few ferns here and there, and it really does tie everything together. I added a roof over the guest path with proper support. We're pretending at realism over here, which also gave me the perfect spot to hang up some education boards. Guests can now learn while staying dry. I mean, they're still going to be quite cold, but you know, what can you do? And here's our finished Dal sheep habitat. The rock path is simple, but it works beautifully, especially with enrichment items placed along to encourage the sheep to explore. They have plenty of room, some cozy sleeping areas tucked underneath the walkway, and all the education and guest views that you can want from a well-rounded enclosure. I'm very happy with the way this one turned out. It ticks all the boxes, and more importantly, I didn't lose my mind over the pathing. It's a win-win. And now, please enjoy a brief intermission. I like to call it the Club Club. The Alpine ASMR experience, brought to you by hooves, rock, and the soothing silence of sheep just doing their thing. Before I can even enjoy the bleating from our new baby Dal sheep, the guests started whining again. Their happiness has dropped into the yellow, and shocker, it's about food and drink. Apparently, the literal zoo of animals isn't enough. They also want snackies. Fine. You want food? Let's build you a food court. Behind the sea lion pool seems like as good a place as any to throw together a full-on culinary capital. I carve out a huge, and I mean huge, plaza. I made space for 16 food and drink stalls. Yes, that's one of every single option in the game. If this doesn't shut them up, nothing will. And toilets. Yeah, we gotta have toilets on every corner because as science has taught us, what goes in must come out. You're welcome. Each stall gets the big traditional commercialized sign above them because I just don't have the patience or the willpower to make my own right now. I recolor everything to lovely purple because it is my favorite color, and honestly, I'm the one doing all the work here. I threw in some picnic benches so the guests can sit down and pretend they're at a fancy outdoor dining experience instead of, you know, the smelly zoo. Honestly, I'm here for the animals. These people, so whiny. But at least now they've got their snackies. Let's see how long that buys me before someone complains about the litter, or the price of soda, or that there aren't any lions in the zoo. Okay, we hear you. We'll go back to the wheel now. Next up on the wheel we got the giant tiger land snail, another exhibit animal. And for themes we got festival and classic. Nothing says festival and classic like galactically slow stripy slime nugget. This is another one of classic Panda expanded exhibit specials, so I plop it right outside the new food court so guests can admire nature's least urgent creature while digesting their overpriced fries. Honestly, not much to show with the build here, but I think it turned out pretty well. It's simple, it's clean, it's a little sticky. Did you know that giant tiger land snails can grow up to 7 inches long? That's about the length of a banana. I don't have a banana for scale, but just trust me on this. That is one big snail. Moving right along, we spin the wheel and land on the sand cats. Oh, tiny, cranky desert beans. I love them already. And the building themes, African and Twilight. Honestly, kind of perfect for these elusive little guys. Starting with the fence, once again, I know, I'm a one-trick pony. I get it. I'm diving straight into mesh barriers. Why? Because I don't really want these little cats to go full escape artists on me. I start mixing a few pieces until I land on a combo I like, which, by the way, takes forever. Custom fencing is 50% patience and 50% convincing myself that I made it look intentional. I'm gonna make a staff area in the back. It's gonna be simple and clean for them just to be able to enter the habitat. And I will make sure our zookeepers have everything they need back here. You know the drill by now. And here we have the habitat before rocks and after rocks. Just look at that. Instant upgrade. I keep telling you, rocks are your friends. Next up, foliage, plants, texture, color, depth, sprinkle in some buffalo grass and call it a day. Don't skimp on these two things. Rocks and plants. They make your habitat just look so much better. Now I know this is going to break theme just a little bit, but I'm going to add some climbable planks from the East Asian pack onto the fence to give the sandcat something fun to do and the guests a bit of a better view. At first I tried to add mesh to the planks to kind of make it like a safety net, but it didn't work, so I do eventually end up ditching the extra mesh. And turns out I didn't even need it, because the setup works great without it. And of course we're going to add our education boards and education talk points, and then I think I'm going to take a minute to pretty up the outside of the habitat, because listen, we've got the money, and we're going to spend it, because I can. While we wait for our tiny kitties to pass quarantine, I start dropping in the habitat items. A cozy burrow, which we will hide with rocks to make it like a little hidey hole, and some enrichment pieces, you know, the works. The sandcats have finally arrived and they seem more than happy with their new home, with plenty of space to roam, things to climb, and lots of places to nap. I've got to say, I really love how the fencing turned out here. The rock work too. It's simple, it's layered. If you ever struggle with rocks, here's the trick. Just keep sinking them into each other until it looks like nature did it on purpose. It works every time. Also, I realized that the roof I built here kind of looks like a pair of giant boots. Maybe we just won't talk about that. Anyways, that's our sandcat habitat done and dusted, and no one can escape. All is calm, all is peaceful, and we are waiting for our little one to give birth when... And not just once. No. That would be merciful. After I re-uploaded, it crashed again. And again. And again. 4 times in a row. Each crashed cruelly timed right before my sandcat was about to give birth. I started to suspect her. Maybe she was the problem. So I did what any completely rational zookeeper would do. I put her in storage. No more crashes, right? Nope, the game kept crashing anyways. Turns out it wasn't her, just the beginning of my descent into a crash spiral. Alright, well, despite my game crashing harder than me on a hot summer day during a sugar crash, I picked myself up, I dusted off the autosave, and bravely returned to the wheel, which gifted us with the giant burrowing cockroach. Ugh, because clearly the game wanted to challenge me spiritually. And the themes, Indian and zookeeper. How not exactly rich and cohesive exhibit aesthetics, but hey, if anyone can make a roach regal, it's me. I took the new exhibit pretty close to our new food court because nothing says appetizing like massive subterranean bugs. Did you know the giant burrowing cockroach is also called the rhinoceros cockroach? And it is the heaviest cockroach in the world. It doesn't fly, oh thank God, and it doesn't bite, also good, and can live up to 10 years. Oh my, that's a long time for a little dirt goblin to be alive. I have dubias in my home for my bearded dragon, and that's enough roach for me. And just like that, we spin our final wheel of this segment and we land on the mighty, the mysterious, the magnificent cougar. And the themes? African and New World. Bit of a confusing combo for a North American big cat, but hey, we'll go with it. I dive right into building. Well, recycling, actually. I really liked the way the sand cat fence turned out, so I'm gonna bring it back for the bigger, beefier feline. In the back of the habitat, I spend a solid chunk of time sculpting out a rock wall with a cozy cave. I'm once again leaning into the sacred art of rock sinking and shoving boulders into each other like I'm playing Tectonic God until they look natural and impressive. Then comes foliage. Sparse tree coverage, lots of buffalo grass, deserty but not empty, just enough greenery to keep things from looking like a giant sandbox. As the cougars chill in quarantine, I go ahead and toss in some enrichment items, some water, food, everything a stealthy apex predator could ask for. And right about then, it started to snow, because of course it did. Nothing says a welcome home like a sudden blizzard. I'm sure the cougars will be thrilled. Once the keepers delivered them, the game crashed again. Again, classic. I re-upload, I put them back in the pen, I cross my fingers, and hey, it seems to have worked. They're in and they're gorgeous. Seriously majestic, these cats are. I finished up with education boards and a few keep quiet signs so guests don't stress them out too much. They're pretty shy. That's pretty much it. The flyover's a bit quicker this time, no extended glamour shots. I'm sorry, we were being gentle on the game engine because it just keeps crashing, but I still wanted to show off some of the highlights. The rocky den, all the buffalo grass, the subtle details that just really bring this habitat together. A strong finish to this chaotic batch of builds. And if the game could please just stop crashing for like 1 more hour, that would be lovely. And just when I thought we were done, out pops a baby cougar! Bright blue eyes, tiny little paws, and a nat 20 on his charisma. An instant star. He started wandering the enclosure with his adorable little baby swagger until he decided to investigate a fallen log and promptly got glitched stuck on it for a while. But don't worry, he eventually figured it out and resumed being the most painfully cute thing in this zoo. Oh my gosh, my cuddle aggression, it needs to calm down. I took a moment to check in on the analytics, and honestly, we're doing really well. We're turning a solid profit again. Guests are finally back in the green, where they belong, and our vets have nearly finished researching all the new animals that we've added lately. We just passed year 75, and the zoo is sitting comfortably at $4.3 million in the bank, which, yeah, it sounds like I should be riding high right about now. And I want to be. But here's the thing, the crashing has gotten so much worse. I don't know what changed. Just yesterday the game was running like a dream, and now it's crashing every 5 to 10 minutes. Mid-build, mid-edit, mid-adorable moment with a baby, and boom, it's just all gone. I've tried everything I could think of, and it's heartbreaking because I'm pouring everything I've got into this zoo. It just feels like the game is fighting me every step of the way. It's hard to keep momentum when you're constantly bracing yourself for the next crash. I don't know if we'll make it to year 100 if this keeps happening. I want to, I really want to, but at this point, I'm starting to worry it might not be possible. Honestly, if worse comes to worse, we'll start over the 100-year zoo, but modless this time. We'll make it bigger and better, and something about lemons and lemonade. And now I'm trying to stop the game from melting my computer. So thanks to all of your suggestions, I did a full zoo sweep. I turned climbing off literally everything. Select your whole zoo and just turn it off. Then I made sure to flip it back on for our koala, the binturong, and the gorilla. They are the only 3 in the zoo that actually need climbing enrichment. After that, I closed the zoo and watched the biblical level of mass exodus. It took ages. Seeing the place totally empty was eerie. and kind of peaceful. I could hear my rocks and my money dropping rapidly. In the settings, I capped the guest at 3,500 to lighten the load. I did eventually raise it back to 4,500 to keep the cash flowing, but then I promptly had to turn it back down to 3,500. And in the end, it still wasn't enough. Then I made my rounds habitat by habitat, reducing population to their absolute minimums and putting most animals on contraceptive to pause the baby boom. I did leave a few VIPs on the romances allowed list, our gorillas, because it is hard to find them at reasonable prices in the trade center and franchise mode, and a gorgeous white tiger I snagged off the market for an absolute steal. Fingers crossed for some photogenic cubs from him. So fewer climbers, fewer crowds, fewer surprise babies, and hopefully fewer crashes. Now let's see if the wheel behaves. And spoiler, the wheel does not behave because our first roll is the mighty Sussex chicken. Honestly, kind of perfect. Themes are Zookeeper and Planet Zoo. So we're going a full cozy barnyard. Chickens are one of those species where the guests can actually enter the habitat, and if you pop down a hand sanitizing station, they'll wander off the path and get to pet the feathery nuggets. And that's exactly what I want here. A tiny petting yard inside the menagerie. Although I would much rather be petting otters instead of chickens, but what can you do? First up, custom fencing. Chickens don't need Fort Knox. They know where dinner is. Even if they wandered out, they'll sprint back at bedtime to roost, so I keep it pretty simple and realistic. I really like how clean this fence turned out. Next, a barn. I'm using Zookeeper pieces and I recolor that to that deep classic red barn color. Here's the bare bones layout, and then we're going to add some rocks. Oh, not too many, it is chickens, but the trimming everywhere on the white of the barn really makes it pop. And next we're gonna add some foliage. A light touch here. Chickens are great for gardens until they discover your seeds and turn into a tiny rototiller. So we're keeping the plants modest. Inside the barn, I scattered bedding to make it look like straw pieces for when they roost at night, tucked enrichment around the yard, and set little sprinklers to mist the sunflowers. I love the sunflowers. Manager Google Bison is on duty. Of course, quality control even for our smallest residents. Time for chickens. Everyone in and the rooster goes on contraceptive immediately. I know what these birds are capable of, and if there is a chicken apocalypse, I know my save will be one crash away from never opening again, so no babies for you. With the zoo just reopened, it took a minute for guests to make their way all the way down over here, but they did. The guests are filtering in, leaving the path and politely mobbing the hens. It's my first true petting zoo built outside of campaign, and I'm pretty proud of it. And if you want campaign tips or full-on how-to on hard mode, I'm a bit of an expert. Just saying. Just say the word and pandas got you. For now, enjoy the barnyard chaos. Now, I don't know if it's true, but I did read that the noise a chicken can make when it sees you is the name it has picked for you. Is that true? Does anybody own chickens? Do they cluck at you the same way every day? This is a cool one, I bet you didn't know. Roosters have a built-in earplug that closes when they crow so they don't deafen themselves. And hens can talk to chicks before they hatch through their egg, and chickens have over 30 distinct vocalizations. That's crazy. I did not know that. Here we go back to the wheel, and we got the honey badger. Ooh, tiny, chaotic, and adorable. What's not to love? And the themes are Indian and Europe, which actually works. I wanted the guests to be nose to the glass with these little gremlins, so I built a custom fence, took an Indian wall piece, flipped it, slotted some glass into the opening, and then mirrored another piece to make this cute little diamond type frame for the glass. I then recolored the fence to match the accent wall panels that I'm using to break up the pattern of the wall. They need far more space than I was expecting for tiny badgers, so I mapped out the barrier, complete with a rock wall that I borrowed from the tiger habitat. And now it is time to add rocks of my own. Oh, so perfect. And yes, I added a snug little hidey hole that they can walk over as well. Now time for foliage, and it's just, perfect. I try not to go absolutely ham on the buffalo grass, but I'm sure they won't mind. 2 honey badgers added into the habitat. They're so small and cute. Oh, I love them. Do they love their... Oh. Oopsies. I forgot their habitat items. I guess that's pretty important, huh? I knew I forgot something. This den will be perfect for badger naps or plotting their escape with the koalas. I tucked the habitat burrow behind this fallen log so it looked like they could just slip into the log to go to sleep, and I'm reasonably proud of that. Then I sprinkled in food and enrichment all around. Education boards went onto the accent walls, possibly too many, but what are the guests gonna do? Complain? Now time for our final flyover. I like the clean glass fence with the diamond cutout. It looks great. The log burrow is my favorite part of this habitat. It's even better than the hidey hole I made myself with rocks. Our bite-sized troublemakers are zooming around the place like they pay mortgage. Simple, cute, and it works. And a fun fact, honey badgers are world-class diggers and escape artists. So yes, I triple-checked that barrier is escape-proof. Also, honey badgers aren't actually honey specialists. They're opportunistic eaters. Rodents, reptiles, birds, fruits, eggs, even tortoises now and then. That is a bougie charcuterie board of doom. And we have a baby honey badger. Oh, look at the little gremlin, born ready to square up with a lawnmower. First little wobble, first little sniff, first attempt at jailbreak in 3, 2... No, I'm kidding. He can't get out. I hope. Absolutely fearless though. Mom's like, stay close, and he's like, what if? And hear me out. No. Typical boy. We're gonna call him Stinker Steve. Enough of this cuteness, now let's see what the wheel will give us next. And the wheel says, maned wolf. Oh, cute little puppy. I just want to boop the snoot. Themes are North African and Arctic. Sure, why not? Luckily, my plan for the fence doesn't care about themes. First, a simple guest viewing strip. Nothing wild. The game engine is already begging for mercy. And now for the animal barrier. I'm going to use one of my favorite quick builds. A tried and true, if you would. Use the long biome matching rocks to make sort of a frame, and then add one-way glass tucked inside of the frame. It works on basically everything, everywhere. A simple, easy barrier with one-way glass. And here's the habitat before rocks. Also, yes, I accidentally placed the glass backwards. Pro tip, always check your one-way glass. Don't worry, I'll fix it in a second with angle snap. Don't you fret. Rock work done, not too crazy, just enough shape to feel natural. Now I noticed the backwards glass. Whoops. Flip it using angle snap and done. Moving on. Super easy. Angle snap is your friend. And the plants are next, and this is where it really comes alive. For me. A few clumps to break up some sightlines, some low grass for texture, and dare I say, suddenly we're in professional zoo territory. Habitat items go in, water, food, a shady bed spot, some enrichment to get those long legs moving, and it's time for the wolves to arrive. Terrain overlay is not quite right when they're placed, so I do tweak the painting just a little bit to better match what they like. A touch of soil, they want some long grass here and there. It's a tad smaller than I usually build, which is rare for me, I know. But they're comfortable and nobody's yeeting over the fence, so I'm calling it a win. Starting in the back of the habitat, we fly over where you can see the back fence with the glass that just works for any habitat you need or want to build. The foliage is just so on point with this build. I really like how it just ties everything together. Coupled with a nice little doghouse that keeps them out of the guest view if they wish to hide during the storms. And this habitat has everything a maned wolf needs to live a very happy and comfortable life here in the menagerie. A fun bit while we watch them explore, maned wolves aren't actually wolves or foxes. They're just their own lanky red leg thing. They're mostly solitary, monogamous, and their pee smells like skunk or my teenage son's bedroom. Yikes. So if your zoo suddenly smells herbal, blame the dogs before you blame the guests. Back to the wheel and we get the sun bear. Oh, I love these long-tongued chaos muffins. Oh my gosh, they're so cute. Any bear I'm down. Themes are Indonesian and classic, which could not be more perfect. Thanks, wheel. Are you buttering me up for something awful later? I'm watching you. Barrier first. I'm gonna do a water moat to keep the bears and the guests politely separated. I'll dig a shallow channel, and then I'll add a clean and classic guest fence to the path side so no one takes an unexpected swim. Don't need to lose any children today. Although, I would pay to see some guests fall in the water, honestly. This habitat will also get a small sun bear house too, with some cozy indoor viewing for nap time, but more on that later. Right now, it's a little sad and pathetic looking. Let's fix that with rocks. See? Much better. I'm reusing the Hippo rock set. Always recycle pieces when you can. Future you will thank past you. And a foliage pass is next. Now that's a proper glow up. Broadleaf tropicals, a few tree trunks, ground cover to soften the edges. Now it just kind of feels like a slice of a rainforest instead of a dirt lot. While Manager Googly Eye buys and babysits our bears in quarantine, I'll place habitat items, food and enrichment near the waterline for guest viewing, climbables throughout, and beds tucked in the house. The floor wants to flatten on this slope, but we'll work around it. Now you ready for this flyover? The sun bear sign on this house is hands down my favorite part. We got plenty of education for the guests to read while they're lurking, and there are so many trees and climb spots packed in here that our sun bears are going to be able to explore and play all day. I think this turned out beautifully. I'm really pleased with it. Honestly, I like all my builds. I feel like I learn something every single time I go in this game to build, and each one ends up just a little bit better than the last. Or maybe that's just me hyping myself up. Either way, Panda approved. Now for some fun facts about these guys. That pale chest patch is unique to each bear, almost like a fingerprint. They're incredible climbers. Those long, curved claws and flexible feet are basically tree hooks. Nicknamed the honey bear, their tongue can reach 20 to 25 centimeters to raid hives and termite mounds. Mamas usually only have one, but sometimes two cubs, so twins can happen. Which brings us to twins! Double snack thieving, double climbing practice, double the serotonin. Tiny claws, big ambition. 12 out of 10, I would build this again. Especially with that sun bear sign. Back to the wheel. Even though the game engine is begging me to stop, we're pushing forward. And we land on the brown-throated sloth. Oh, adorable! Another walkthrough exhibit, which is sweet. The themes are conservation and African, which isn't exactly the sloth's postal code, but conservation fits, so we're gonna roll with that. First, I drop the sloths in the exhibit so that way I can see the layout the game wants to give me. And then I frame the whole thing with grid pieces, and I leave an opening for the guests to enter and exit. I delete the stock exhibit walls and add wood paneling to hide the path. Future me wants to do this way more, and yes, it's extra work, but the payoff is so clean when you build on the grid. I just want a whole square zoo filled with concrete. The brutalist inside me will love it. The mulch inside the exhibit was flickering so bad, so out it goes and I will lay my own mulch, and it looks so much better already. Then I spend a while fussing with plants to fill things in for the sloths. I haven't researched their enrichment yet, so I'm going to try and leave some spaces where I think those pieces might land. And wow, I'm just now realizing while I'm editing this that I didn't add any rocks. Am I ill? Do I need to take my temperature? Finishing the greenery with leaf litter on the sides of the path really ties this all together. In the corner, I took a keeper hut and a research center. I probably have way too many keeper huts in this zoo, but listen, the less they have to walk, the better. How many huts per habitat do you guys usually use? Also, my entire staff is sitting at 3 stars, and I'm scared to promote them because I'm worried that they will financially tank me. What do you guys normally keep your staff at? Is 3 stars good? Paths go in, connect them to the hut, connect it to the research center, and I bypass path across the front so the guests can choose to skip the walkthrough altogether if they want to. Side note, I once petted a sloth with my boys. It was so magical. Her name was Bella. That's me. And that's Bella. Oh, isn't she so precious? And yes, that's food on her nose. And no, she didn't want me to wipe it off. We just fed her. We did not bother her. We didn't move her. We just left her where she was, and we were allowed to just feed her and pet her briefly. But we didn't like hold her or remove her from her spot or force her to do anything that she didn't want to do. Back to building, I throw some mural pieces on the interior walls. I wish these were base game, and the top trim wasn't matching near enough, so I used this New World blue panel up there, and honestly, I'm not mad at it. I started to add more accents, and then I remembered the crashing saga, and I backed away slowly. Grid to the rescue for a painless thatch roof placement. Time for a cute front sign, and I can't believe I didn't catch the mistake right away. Did you see it? Yeah, I forgot a letter. Don't laugh. You've done it too, don't lie. And I fix it later, don't you worry. That R still sits a little wonky, but hey, it's proof that mistakes happen and we move on. Inside I add hand sanitizer stations, not required for a walkthrough exhibit to work, but it made sense to me. A bit of education inside for the up-close sloth watchers, and more education outside for those drive-by readers. And that's our custom sloth house. I love that Planet Zoo lets you fully customize these exhibits. You can keep the defaults if you want to for an easy build, or you can tear them all down and rebuild the whole thing just like this. And I'm really happy with how this turned out on the inside and the outside. Wonky R and all. They've got a slow metabolism and a multi-chambered stomach. One bathroom trip could be a third of their body weight.
That is one big pile of shit.
Wow. Sloths are surprisingly good swimmers and can hold their breath for up to 40 minutes by slowing their heart rate. I didn't know they were good swimmers. Despite the name brown-throated, that just refers to the throat patch. The rest of the coat can vary from grayish to mossy green thanks to the fur, which hosts symbiotic algae that helps them camouflage in the canopy. Sloths and pandas, man, some of nature's best work when it comes to these lazy guys. They are my spirit animals, hands down. Next spin, we get the Fire Salamander, and thanks to our ongoing Crash Fest of 2025, we're keeping this one super simple. No theme, no custom build, no expanded exhibit, just a clean pre-built exhibit so my PC doesn't spontaneously combust. Click, place, done. Minimal stress. Look at that black and yellow warning jacket. That's aposematic coloring, which is a fancy way of saying, do not lick me. I'm more worried that you need to have a jacket in the wild that just says that. People will just be coming up on you and licking you. They like cool, damp forests and are mostly nocturnal. And some even give birth to live young instead of eggs, which is wild. I didn't know that. Alright, the exhibit's in, the salamander's happy, my game didn't crash, knock on wood. But let's continue pushing our luck, shall we? Back to the wheel, we get Conquerel Safika. I definitely didn't pronounce that right, did I? Did I pronounce that right? Conquerel Safaka? I think it's Safaka. Oops. Is this the Zumbumafu lemur? Yes. Yes, it is. Hello, 90s kids. I see you. The themes are New World and South America, which, look, not exactly Madagascar, but we're gonna focus on the build and not the geography, okay? I must have liked the moat idea so much for this that I did it again. A slim water channel along the front with a custom guest fence. This is a walk-through habitat, but if you don't want to be eye level with the lemur, you can just view them from the outside too. I must have gone into full panda zoned out focus mode because I completely forgot the mid-build shots. My bad. So here's the jump cut to the fully rocked and foliaged habitat. I kept it simple on the inside and added a little retreat house so the troops can bail on the crowds when they need a little introvert time. I like my introvert time all the time. And next it's time for the habitat items. I've never actually kept this exact lemur before, but enrichment seems to be shared across the other prosimians, so we're spoiled for choice. These little side jumping acrobats will not be bored, that's for sure. Time to drop the Safakas in and whoops, too much grass. Terrain paint to the rescue. Also need more climbables, so I tried to squeeze in another structure, which was way easier said than done. End result, a super cute, super functional slice of tropical paradise. Up close encounters for the guests, plenty of paths, perches, and bounce lanes for the lemurs, plus this gorgeous tree sleeping climb from the workshop by this creator here. Chef's kiss. It's so good. It fills up the space perfectly. I would absolutely die to hold one of these cuties, but for now, I'll settle with watching them climb, leap, and play. As I'm sure you've noticed, the Conquerel Safaka is a vertical clinger and leaper. They launch between trunks like pogo sticks and do that famous sideways ground skip. See, they don't run, they skip. Frolic, if you would. Like marathons, but sideways and adorable. Their conservation status is critically endangered. Habitat loss and hunting are the biggest threats. Poor little guys. I wish I could just scoop them all up and keep them safe with me. That's 7 species down for this run. I don't know how much more I'm going to be able to squeeze in here before the game just implodes, but I am determined to get to at least 10. So you know what that means. Yep, it's a wheel time, baby. Next up, we roll the Chinese pangolin. I love these adorable little armor beans, and the theme is East Asian. Full stop. Say no more. We need nothing else. I want a perfect circle for this centerpiece. There are a million ways to make circles in this game, but here's the way that I'm using today. Drop a grid piece, and then count 6 squares out and place a second one. Highlight both and hit Ctrl Z to duplicate and put yourself in advanced movement mode. Set your angle snap to 15 degrees and just click around the wheel one tick at a time, copying and redoing that until your circle closes. Easy. Handed tip of the day. Now I'm gonna raise the ground just a tooch and about a meter so the guests can actually see these little guys. I'm adding a staff entrance in the back so the keepers can use the sloth's keeper hut. I'll carve a tiny area back here that would be like the pangolin's house, if you would, and then I'll delete a slice of my circle so that way everything is connected. Barrier time. Time to wrap it all the way around with this null barrier. It doesn't have to hug the circle perfectly, don't worry, they're not getting out. Before I drown this in rocks and plants, I'm placing some big habitat enrichment items that are a pain to squeeze in later. The foraging box, which is massive, and a burrow that I plan to hide in the rockwork. This space is just screaming for a cherry blossom tree, so yes, of course, allow me to oblige you. I'm camouflaging the burrow at the base of the tree with rocks. It takes a minute to find pieces that don't completely cover the burrow from use, but we get there. I try softening the box's hard edges with some trim and cover. It turned out fine. It's functional, cute. Do I love it? Maybe? And because it wouldn't be a panda build without flaws, I forgot to hit record for about 30 minutes, so you missed my foliage pass. Love that for me. I cheered myself up by adding my golden pangolin statues, a career reward on hard mode. That's just me flexing. Path goes in, connected to the main zoo so guests and staff can actually reach the habitat. Toss down some conservation boards, realize I need power, duh panda. Tuck that behind the sloth house, updated some work zones, and placed the education screen. Time to quarantine these little scaly noodles. Or they're more like scaly potatoes. We move them in, tweak the terrain paint to their liking, and step back. I'm really happy with this one. The circle frames everything, and the cherry blossom anchors the whole scene. Fingers crossed the guests stop and actually read about the very real threats that pangolins face. And yes, I'm going to admire my gold statue again, because I earned it. This is their home away from home in the menagerie, and this is where I realize I meant to add a viewing dome port. Oh my gosh, it's even in my notes to add a dome. But did I do it? No. Swiss cheese brain strikes again. Maybe a treat for the next zoo project, guys. I'm sorry, I forgot that viewing domes even exist. Then I get a notification that my binturong is about to kick the bucket, so I zoop on over there and, what was that animation? Did he just go full-on fainting goat? Is that normal? Do they do that in the wild? I have questions. So many questions. R.I.P. I guess. Back to our pangolins. They're loving their space and I'm just loving watching them. Okay, maybe a bit too much buffalo grass. I'm losing them. I can't believe those words just came out of my mouth. And that didn't take them long to, you know, make those babies. Oh, there he goes. He's shy. He's shy. He did his business and he ran off. He's shy, guys. It's okay. And baby alert! Look at this tiny perfect little nugget. Oh, he heard that food bucket and he is sprinting. Somebody needs to get this poor child a step stool though for the bowl. Just can't barely reach it. He's too cute. Pangolin, not pangolin. The name comes from Malay, which is one who rolls up, which they do by turning into a spiky little armadillo burrito. And those scales, pure keratin, which is the same stuff as our hair and nails, layered like roof shingles for some serious protection. Teeth? No, pangolins skip the dentist and use a tongue that can be almost as long as the rest of their body. It's anchored deep in their chest near their pelvis, so they can slurp ants, termites out of tunnels like the living spaghetti fork. That's crazy. Chinese pangolins are critically endangered, and the biggest reason is poaching for their scales, which has no proven medical benefits, but unfortunately, myths of their medicinal properties have driven illegal trade. Man, some humans just suck. Alright, wheel, be kind to me today. Something good, please. Ooh, the southern white rhino! Big boy energy. Okay, Focus in, Panda. I can do this. The themes are Planet Zoo and South America. Africa would have made more sense. I feel like we've rolled a lot with South America lately, but oh well. I'm thinking concrete full brutalist theme for this anyways. You know, like the hippos, but for rhinos. First up, the pit. I'm going to use the terrain stamping tool for the basic depth, and then I'm going to switch the flats into foundation to clean it up. And it feels a little bit too deep here, so I dropped a half wall in to just do a depth check. It's not terrible, but I'm gonna raise it up just a little bit and smooth some other areas down. Now a barrier edge so it's not just a sheer drop, and I'm fiddling with pieces until it looks like a real hippo safe flip. Advance move makes these weird angles painless. And here's the habitat after that first fence pass, and don't worry, I will add a second layer to that fence for the no falling children clause in my zoo's waiver. Yes, the zoo has a waiver. You must sign it. Alright, I'm going to try an editing experience right now, and we're going to try to do a stop motion build for the rhino house. I get why people don't do this very often. Even this tiny house took ages, so maybe feel free to clap, or at least give me a thumbs up or something. Rock's next because of course, and while I'm in my rock brain zoned out mode, I am adding a waterfall. I hear you, PC fans, I hear you screaming. Well, actually, not really. My computer is pretty beefcake over here, and I think it's the game engine that can't handle me. But come on, if we're gonna go out, we're gonna go out in style. Here's the state of things. Rock work is locked in, the waterfall is flowing, and the muddy wallow was added for enrichment because it's one of those really big enrichment items. Foliage pass, trying hard not to go overboard for once. Oh, and yes, I added a second barrier layer along the guest fence. Don't worry, we're not yeeting anyone into the rhino pit today. Quarantine's done and my staff are sprinting, marching those rhinos into their new home, plowing through every guest along the way, and I love that for us. I need an underground keeper tunnel network. Would they even use it, or would they still just body check the guests up on the main path? If anyone's tested that out, let me know. Can I have a keeper ant tunnel system under my whole zoo? Moving in the family, I have one male, one female, and a baby that didn't quite make the cut for a community challenge a while ago. Terrain needs were close, just a touch more long grass, and I tuck it along the buffalo grass and along the water's edge. That just seems to be where it feels more natural to me. In our final flyover tour, the southern white rhino habitat, waterfall for cooling and sipping on these hot summer days, a hideaway hut if they want to break from the people, and the faux rocks doing overtime over here. Education where the keepers can toss food in to bring them closer to the guests as well. Well, close but not too close. We don't want to be getting personal up in here. Oh, and of course it's going to start snowing. And there he goes. Nope, not a fan. Sir, are you gonna just lay down in the doorway right there? I mean, that's a bold choice for you, my guy. You better look out. Mom and Dad are also making a run for cover too. Honestly, same. I'm not built for the cold either. The rhinos are settled, the habitat is humming, and everything is going smoothly, and that is a win in my book. Southern white rhinos are the biggest of the rhinos, with dinner plate shoulders and square lips built for mowing grass down. A hungry adult can put away dozens of kilos of greens a day. Dear Lord, that is a lot of food. They're surprisingly social. Females and sub-adults forming crashes, which is an adorable name for a group, by the way, while big bulls hold territories and advertise with very confident poop piles. Spa day in the mud wallow. It's sunscreen, bug spray, and skincare all in one glorious sludge. You think the beauty gurus should start wallowing in mud? And here we go. For one final spin, the polar bear. Oh my, well there goes my budget. No building themes. Honestly, polar bear feels like the perfect finale for this series. How do you top polar bear? Yeah, that's right, you don't. Polar bears need a ton of space and a ton of water. Finally, an animal I can overbuild for that will appreciate the space. You may have to squint to see them with all this acreage, but we'll manage. I'm going to rough in my plan with terrain paint before I commit to any pieces. The sand will mark out the guest paths. I want a walk-through cave here, and the darker rock will be like the land viewing zone while you are in the cave. And over on this side, I'm dreaming of a little amphitheater, a talk point down in front with guest seats fanning out, and an underwater viewing window right here. I start carving the pool with the terrain stamp tool, and full disclosure, I immediately yeet this whole thing in the trash a few minutes later. Don't worry, you'll see why. I have ADHD brain pretty bad, so today we're bouncing on all of our projects. So I hop over to the guest cave and block it with the same dull rock sheeps. I just duplicate them and rotate them, and it makes a perfect cave for our polar bear guests. I'll run coolers throughout this cave so the guests can live their best polar bear lives. Just bring a jacket, or better yet, buy one from the gift shop. We should sell jackets for when it's cold. Oh, and fans for when it's hot. Dude, Planet Zoo devs, listen up. Old Panda, I have ideas for that merchandising. Back to the barrier. And here's where the mental breakdown slowly starts. I'm using the strong, watertight glass, lowered, sunken into the terrain. Everything by the books. And the water still won't hold. Why? Why is it filling the wrong side? Why is there a ghost leak? I even pulled the glass away from the terrain and it still leaks. I made a full tank, dragged the wall deep underground, and then pulled it up. And it leaks. I might have had to stop and cry a little. I finally get it to work by double barriering, is that even a word? The pool. And if you look closely, come here, I'll show you. There's still a tiny gap where it's trickling through. And back here too. What is happening? To this day, I still have no idea what cursed gremlin caused this. If you know, please educate your panda. I would love to know. This was so stressful. I almost quit. Next up, we plaster. New pool, new deck, and this time it's quick and painless thanks to the sea lion tank we made. I add stairs leading up to the talk point seating. No one will actually use these, but they look nice. And plus, I'm going to also add some wheelchair and stroller ramps because we're pretending our guests value accessibility as much as I do. Something tells me we aren't going to get much variation in our guests from what we have now, so we'll just have to play pretend. Finish the plastering, I drop in a talk point seating shell, then lay a rock outline to map out the land section, and null barriers go around the whole outside of the habitat. For the talk point building, I'm going to go full Arctic theme here because polar bears. I have to utilize 2 different grids to line up the doorway with the path. I'm sure this is going to be so fun to roof later. And then I wrap the wood panelings around until I connect it to the habitat gate. The gate did refuse to cooperate, but don't worry, we just deleted it and replaced it until it did. Simple keeper outpost goes in for the polar bear crew, nothing fancy for them. Now I'm going to do something that I haven't done all series long. I am going to use a barrier for something that isn't water. Thick glass viewing walls, so we can have big seamless spans all the way up to the roof for a nice clean look. I bed the base with some rocks and I hide the joints with those chunky ice boulders. Now one big uninterrupted pane looks a little odd, so I'm going to mirror the ice to the other side and kind of make it look like panels, but it ties together real nicely and there's no breakage in the glass all the way up to the ceiling. If I had used panels, you would see those seams of the square panels, so that's why I really wanted to use this technique. Time to paint in the snow because that's all these bears really care about, right? Snow, fish, maybe water. I roof over the keeper entry and start sprinkling in some workshop goodies. And these snowman donation bin covers are just too cute to skip on. The talking point goes in courtesy of this creator right here. I love the workshop. It's great to utilize on some of the smaller details of your build. Remember our cursed double barrier? Yeah, I'm too scared to touch the glass or the water again. So I'm going to bring some of those bright white snow rocks down to cap the exposed edges. And I'm going to tilt a couple of these to make it be like a ramp so the bears can slide in and out of their pool. It actually looks great. Bob Ross's happy accidents. Roof time, everyone's favorite. And it's only fun if you build in a perfect rectangle, which I did not. I add an arch support so that way this looks vaguely structural. Pass or fail? You tell me. This looks awful. Then snap the rest together. Then that was the easy part. Up top, I'm going to use a glass strip for that natural golden hour light. A second arch goes in and it's cleaner than the first. Let's just not discuss the talk point exit door, okay? Habitat items get sprinkled in. Most of the food enrichment right up by the main viewing glass so guests can actually see the bears instead of snow piles. A couple of underwater toys, a scratching tree, and just a whisper of foliage. They don't really need much. Foliage, that is. They need a lot of space, don't get me wrong. These are the most needy animals in the whole zoo. And it's time to release the bears. Big boy arrives, and the tiny queen follows. She's so cute. Beautiful. Time for an escape check. Oh, apparently they can phase through glass now? What is with this glass today? I raised the rocks, and still escape markers. I don't want to block this viewing point with rocks, so I'm going to just sink in a few glass building pieces in this problem spot, and victory! Panda 1, thick glass 0. I think it's time for a flyover. Entering the complex, you get the Talk Point Amphitheater first. Fun fact, no one has ever sat through a talk here. My educator thinks he's unpopular. He's not. My guests just fear the cold. The bears have a cozy iceberg shelf that they love to nap on. I find them constantly here, plus a private sleeping bay in the back if they want some distance from the crowd. The rest of the land funnels them right past the big viewing panes to eat, so even on nap days, the guests can get a close look. Because the bears gotta eat. Now if I can only convince my guests to actually walk down here. Turns out they don't like the cold very much either. Okay, Queen of the Deep incoming here. Look at her glide. Zero splash, full elegance. I built a whole amphitheater and she said, why thanks, I'll do my own mermaid show from now on. If you're wondering, yes, the glass took 10 years off my life, but it's worth it for shots like these. Those paws are basically dinner plates with paddles. She's an absolute unit. I would build Leaky Pool again for her. Meanwhile, Dad's at the spa, full-on exfoliation. Get it, sir? I placed this scratching post right by the viewing pane so you can see those claws in HD, you know, from a safe, non-eaten distance. He's like new enrichment toy, say less. And it took some time, but Tiny Snowloaf unlocked. Look at that face! His charisma stats is off the charts illegal. I found this interesting. Polar bears aren't white. Their fur is hollow and transparent, and their skin underneath is actually black. Snow day optical illusion? I think so. Cubs usually come in twins. Well, not ours, but you know. Each cub barely a pound at birth. Guinea pig size, and they drink milk that's 30 to 35% fat. Mama serving straight butter shakes. As we close out the final year, we take this time to finish off all of our research, every animal fully researched and ready for the next franchise playthrough. Our zoo is sinking, and quickly. Those polar bears are no joke, man. Just look how much they eat. And that is after reducing everyone down to grade 1 food. Profits are in the toilet. And without being able to increase guest limits, it's only a matter of time before we say goodbye to all of this and our credit score. It was a good run while it lasted. Let's take one last look at what we built here today. You made it to the end of the Menagerie of Mayhem, our chaotic, stubborn, big-hearted zoo. No tour, no order, just one last drift across everything we stitched together with rocks, trim, and sheer willpower. I didn't build a perfect park, not by any means. I built a story. Every corner down there has a fingerprint on it that's mine, yours, and the random wheels. We said yes to whatever showed up and then figured it out on camera together. Sometimes gracefully, sometimes zip-tied together with buffalo grass, but somehow it kept working. It started with a patch of dirt, an ostrich, and a dream. And now look at this chaos we lovingly call a zoo. I can't help but feel a tiny pang of pride, like watching your toddler build something weird out of spaghetti noodles and duct tape and saying, yeah, that's art. From the moment I popped the first balloon of a clueless guest to this final baby donkey that was born into this mess, it has been a ride. We've had animals who hated everything, staff who go on mental vacations mid-shift and can't seem to ever muck out the camel pens, frogs dogs with food-based names, and the tiniest prairie dogs living their best life under mounds of faux rocks. And through it all, the wheel just kept spinning. A blessing, a curse, my frenemy on the other screen. But we made it work, somehow. Every species, every build, every accidental scenic disaster turned into artistic genius. All of it became part of something bigger than me just goofing off. It became our zoo. To everyone who's been watching this journey, whether you've been here since year 1 or you just stumbled in looking for a Planet Zoo video that wasn't 95% pathing tool suffering, thank you. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, screaming at your screen that I forgot deep water again, and for being a part of this absolutely bonkers journey. The zoo has grown, and so have we. Mostly in the number of exhibit animals and rocks. Oh, so many rocks. I'll remember the little things the most. Fixing that one-way glass that I placed backwards with the confidence of a magician. That peaceful minute after closing when the paths were empty and you could almost hear the terrain tool sigh. The day the koala staged a slow-motion jailbreak. The sea lion resort that turned into a family vacation destination. Ghost Noodle becoming an absolute legend. Stinker Steve looking guilty and adorable all at the same time. And the rhino who decided the doorway was the correct place to take a nap, unbothered and unstoppable. A tangled map of creativity, struggle, and an unhealthy relationship to buffalo grass. We faced weird challenges, koalas making breaks for it, albino caimans being too cute for their own good, guests complaining about food after being given an entire 16-stall food court, like spoiled toddlers at a buffet wanting nothing but chicken nuggies. We even experienced one of nature's greatest mysteries, the Taiga, proof that the universe has a sense of humor and it likes to mix camels, vacuum cleaners, and anxiety. And yet, somehow, it works. Every time we rolled the wheel, we found a way to make the chaos into something meaningful, something majestic, something ridiculous, and sometimes something so cursed that the game couldn't even handle it and it crashed. We built sky bridges for gorillas, turned exhibit boxes into glowing blacklight bat caves, and found ourselves whispering sweet ASMR nothings to mountain sheeps walking over handcrafted cliffs. This zoo is more than a sandbox of random animals and decorative bins. It's a celebration of why not? Why not put a snail next to the food court? Why not give okapis a lovely waterfall? Why not name a caiman Ghost Noodle and give him the royal treatment? And by that I mean I stuck him in a box and threw him in the Trade Center. As we glide over each of these lovely cobbled together habitats, I'm reminded that beauty isn't about perfection. It's about intention and chaos. Okay, mostly chaos. Somewhere between angry honey badgers, a Bintron doing its best fainting goat impression, and me losing a fist fight with a sheet of glass, it turned into a zoo. A real one! With babies and drama, and the manager named Googly-Eyed Bison who watches everything like a disappointed principal. The wheel never cared about logic. It said chickens? I said, sure, petting zoo. It said rhino? And I said, dig a pit and maybe pray. It said polar bear, and the budget said goodbye forever. And yet somehow it kept lining up. A tongue the size of a scarf here, a sideways skipping lemur there, a pangolin under a cherry blossom like a tiny scaly poem, even Stinker Steve showing up, already planning a heist. We learned things, big things, like place the giant habitat items before you get crazy with rocks. The grid is your friend until it isn't. Reusing rock sets is not cheating, it's self-care for my soul. Guests will always complain in front of a 16-stall food court like a toddler at a buffet. The staff will body check you while they deliver buckets of beetles and they'll feel nothing. Turning off climbing on the entire zoo can save your save file. So can contraceptives. And so can laughing when the game decides it's had enough. And maybe don't promote every staff member to 3 stars and wonder why your profits look like a sad noodle. This community held the ladder while I hammered nonsense into something I actually love. A place where a guest can stand and instantly get it. Sunbears wrestling under a sign, sloths drifting past hand sanitizers like tiny retirees, wolves ghosting through the grass, a caiman with a championship name. The rest is texture, signage tucked where curiosity finds it, paths hidden under boardwalks, a little education layered between jokes. As we glide over the last path, I can see the rough draft that used to live here. And I'm proud we kept improving without sanding off the personality. It isn't tidy, it's lived in. It has running jokes, accents turned to features, and just enough chaos to feel alive. And that's the fun of it. That's what kept me recording when the engine begged me to stop. And it begged me. If this series did anything, I hope it gave you permission to try that wild idea. Spin the wheel. There's a link for it in the description box below. You spin that wheel. Pick the theme that you wouldn't have picked. Reuse your rocks. Overbuild the thing that makes you smile. When you mess up, and you will, call it a lesson. Add some trim, and move on. Did it crash? Yes. Did I threaten to uninstall? Also yes. But I won't, because chaos is kind of the point. The zoo works because it shouldn't. It's a collage of my why not that kept turning into, oh, that actually looks pretty good. So this is where we pause. Not because the wheel ran out of animals, but because my save file is one sneeze away from abstract art. I'm calling it at 100 years. Proud, delirious, only slightly traumatized by underwater viewing areas. The Menagerie of Mayhem is the first franchise zoo I ever truly finished, and I'm ending in a way that it deserves, with gratitude. Thank you for the comments, the laughs, the gentle, "Panda, it's okay, just breathe," the name lists, the fun facts that you all filled me in with, and the patience while I turned "what if" into "look at that." This isn't goodbye. The wheel is staying. Another 100-year zoo is on the whiteboard. Maybe only 10 species per quarter though, for the engine's sake. And that black and white sandbox build is pacing at my door. If you want hard mode tutorials or campaign deep dives, I'm your panda. Bring your best names, and I'll bring the extra rocks. But for now, let the camera keep floating. Take one last look at the mess we made on purpose, the cozy corners, the loud mistakes, the parts that got better because you were here. And if something down there made you smile, tell me which moment. Keep those fun facts coming. I love reading all of them. You guys are so much smarter than I am. Thank you so much for opening your arms and accepting me into this community that we call Planet Zoo. You guys have all been so incredibly wonderful and nice, and I just feel so lucky and blessed that I stumbled into this community almost by accident. I filmed the first video thinking that I wouldn't get any views, and now look at this. We've completely shifted our palette, and Planet Zoo is our thing now, which is great. It's actually one of my absolutely favoritist games in the whole world. I look forward to reading all of your comments every single time. I do read all of them. I try and reply to all of them. I love talking with you guys. Truly, thank you. And I can't wait to see what 2026 gives us. I'm Panda, and I'll see you on the next spin of the wheel. Bye! Oh, and before we go, I wanted to share something a little special. After hours of building, tweaking, and testing, there was one little voice that mattered the most. So here is what my tiny co-creator had to say about the Californian feline habitat inspired by him.
Oh, they're so cute. Oh yeah, there's like little boats for them to play, little toys. Very basic.
They ask you how you are, you don't just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Or maybe not. Kids, man, am I right? And by basic, you mean basically the coolest thing you've ever seen, right? Right?
Maybe. I mean, I guess it is kind of epic.